wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. Yeah, we Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing. Not at all scary. One eye open like Betty Wops and fine to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing son up, baby.
Hey yo, Scotty, we back.
Yo,
Appreciate you for reaching out. I'm like, hey, it's outspoken. A lot changed. Granted, the concept we still hosting. Giving you the fix you need when on the screen. The veteran, Captain Petty, giving you medicine. Come tap in. You know Scott gon' do what he do. Might not want to hear it, but here go the hard truth. Perry about the numbers, regret if you're not fact-based. When you run your lane, the numbers seem like a statue. Wait. Hey, Scotty, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think the people feeling it. Let me get in my bag a little bit, just showing what this outspoken really about to be like. Outspoken, this is more than conjecture. These days they laying people off, so glad that we got our own. Hunger insatiable, made for you if you say you objective. Hard truth offering, no offense, just perspective. Come get your dosage and go with me. We spit it like poetry. The pivot was pivotal, could rhyme here, but I'd rather not. Some say Scotty, some call him Scott, the best one since Stewart. If you know, then you know, but if you don't, then you're lost. Let me be frank for a minute, cause we all know that's how Perry be. Break it down the game for what it was, no apologies. This my hypothesis, you tune in, you like watching it. It's common sense, obvious, competent, rugged, and confident. Hey, we outspoken. We outspoken. We outspoken. This is Outspoken.
Hey, back.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You already know it's your boy Scotty back with another one. It's Monday night. You already know what we is. It's Outspoken, baby. Very, very, very wild weekend in HBCU football, and you already know what it is. It's homecoming season. It's in galore. It's century. I know you guys are like, Scotty's on time. Scotty's never on time. Listen, okay, I want to be very clear. When you have special guests, you can't move like you used to, okay? You gotta be on your best behavior because you gotta have a good impression. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out here just starting whenever because people got time and stuff like that. So it's just a little different, man. So I gotta get Perry's music together because I don't got it set up, and I feel pretty bad for my brother. Here we go. Okay, there you go. Gotta respect, gotta respect my guy. So while that loads, listen, make sure you go ahead and like the stream, go ahead and subscribe. You already know what it is. We got some very special guests, so you definitely want to tune in all the way throughout the show. It's gonna be crazy today. I feel like we real ESPN-ish out here. We feel like we're real ESPN-ish out here. But anyway, give it up for my co-host, my brother from another, my boy Perry White.
Hey, when I hear that, it's game time. Hey,
you know what's crazy? I was watching a high school game this Friday, and they played that jank.
did they?
They played that jank. I was like,
They played that exact version?
where? But no, not. They don't say the B word. It's high school.
They not a little disrespect. That's good. The kids better learn the manners about themselves, Scotty.
They're like, hey, talking out the side of your neck.
Yeah.
No.
To the principal's office, you get to talking like that at the game. You get in-school suspension fooling with me.
Yeah. So it was a good game though. It was a guy out there. I literally text every coach on my phone like, yo, this kid's special, like for real. Yeah, I was like, you gotta go recruit him. But hey, listen. Let's get right into it, Perry. I got my losing team on. You have the winning team on. I didn't even put two and two together. But, I just felt like Bethune-Cookman don't get enough love in the vicinity. So I just said, I thought I'll rep them out today, get some Wildcat love out here. So,
I see what you're doing here. I see what's going on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just thought, I didn't put two and two. I didn't think you was going to wear a Southern shirt, but,
Oh, my bad.
I thought you was going to wear a Valley shirt that you still owe my boy Mike. But, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here. I thought you was gonna wear your Valley shirt like you were supposed to, but of course, paying your dues, it don't affect you. It just affect me.
I'm like you. It's in the mail.
You didn't. Where's the proof?
You never showed me no proof. You just kept telling me it's in the mail.
Oh, come on, man! I brought up a whole screenshot of my purchase off of Amazon.
You didn't do it on this show. You must have did it on Mike's show.
Anyway, I did it. I did it on my shows. Anyway, hot and viral. Real quick, want to get into it. This has been going around crazy like, okay?
I thought this was put to rest.
Listen, it came back up. Gail, what's her? Gail, the lady that's cool with Oprah.
Yeah, Gail.
Yeah, I don't know her last name. Gail Sayers? Is it?
Not no Gail Sayers. You know who Gail Sayers is?
That's the runner, right? That's the runner. That's the one who ran.
You must never read the book then.
No, I didn't read the book. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on now, man. We're just gonna call her Gail's. We're not gonna give her a last. Gail Sayers is not her.
Okay, but Gail. Come
on,
I'm sorry. Listen, man. I only got associates.
I can't believe you just said that.
I only got an associates, man. Let me check the comments. The comments gonna tell me. Gail King. There you go, Gail King. Gail King.
The Gail you talking about? That's the Chicago Bears, man.
Oh yeah, that's the running back. Well, no grown man should be named Gail. Anyway, dinner with Jay-Z or 500K, Perry. What you got?
I'm taking 500K. Jay-Z may have words of wisdom and he may be able to have the network, but you give me 500K and watch what I can invest in. Watch what I can do. I can invest in myself. Sitting down with Jay-Z just sound like you asking to get some money at some point. Yeah. More so than if you give me 500K, that's the money I'm probably sitting there asking Jay-Z about.
That's fair. Listen, give me the cash. Listen, give me the money all day, every day, because I'm about to take that 500K. I'm about to flip it and flip it again. I'm gonna pay my tithes, to my church, give me a little 10%. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm out there flipping. We out there hustling, baby. You know what I'm saying?
To be honest, if I sit down with dinner with Jay-Z, what you think he gonna do? Blow me off? What you think he gonna do?
He might give you some gems, but it's
Gems
gonna need
ain't no
money.
money.
Yeah, it's gonna cost money. It is like, I don't care what gym you got, I gotta get some money. So I'm definitely taking the 500.
When you look at generational wealth, most people who have wealth and being able to start and get that leg up in life, it's because of the resources that they have and the money that they're able to get to be able to invest into the things that they love and the things that they feel could be something they could do for a living. 500K could definitely $500,000. Come on.
Oh yeah,
you know what $500,000 to do with Outspoken?
Ooh, they don't want them problems. You know what 100K would do?
Let's just talk about 500,000. You know what 500,000? If I sat down with Jay-Z and was like, we got this show Outspoken, we talking about HBCUs and we talking to sports, Jay-Z just gonna look at me. He gonna be like,
That's nice, yeah. What y'all doing with that? What y'all gonna do with that?
And if I got dinner with Jay-Z, who's paying? Because I feel like he's.
Oh, he definitely gotta pay. Oh no! I'm not paying for dinner with Jay-Z.
How much do you think a dinner if you sit down with Jay-Z will run you?
Easy, about $300. Easy, 2-person meal at a fancy restaurant. Easy, $300.
$300.
Easy.
I'm thinking thousands of dollars.
Oh, I don't even.
Yeah.
I don't even.
If it's Jay-Z, most likely we got to go rent the place out. We just not.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we need that place to ourselves. But then I don't know what the conversation to be like. I don't even know if he'll entertain me. But I know what to entertain me. 500K in my bank account entertain me.
I'm riding with you on that one. I'm riding with you on that. 500K all day, every day. All right, let's get into this week 8 recap. Hey, we did pretty dang good. Now I could have went undefeated if I would have picked Southern. I would have went 8-0. I was out here.
That's your fault for wanting to be against your brother. And I get it. You wearing the Wildcats, you had to make up for that.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah,
but that's pretty damn good considering last week.
Well, we couldn't find a dub. We couldn't buy a dub.
Couldn't find a dub, boy. I'm talking about we flunked that class last week. Whatever that quiz was, I ain't studied.
Hey, throw that out. Hey, throw that out. You know what I'm saying?
That's when you get in at the end of the semester. You're like, yeah, I can drop your lowest test score.
Yeah. But where that loss come from though, Perry?
That one?
Yeah. Where that loss come from?
Well, that one came from, of course, a great game. It was over in the Washington, D.C. area with Howard and Norfolk State. But it came down to the wire. It was a great game, nonetheless.
It did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, that dark horse getting real dark in the MEAC. That's all I'm saying.
I have gotten people to understand when it comes to Norfolk State. Rock with me. Because it's not like the games when you look at Norfolk. It's not like the games have been out of hand. Norfolk has literally been there in every game they have played in. And they was in this one to the end. I'm talking about all the way to the end. And so I thought I was going to get out of here 8-0. I
You was close. Boy, you was close. I was watching the game. First of all, I was supposed to do a watch party for the game. And it just started off too slow for me. I was just like, hey, this jank is going too slow for me. But, I caught it on the back end. Hey, listen, that was an awesome game. But listen, it sounds better hearing it from the man himself, the one who makes this sound so much better. I say behold. Listen, special guest today. Please give it up for Coach Dawson Odoms. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing fine, Coach. How about yourself?
Couldn't be better, man. Need a couple of W's to go along with this feeling. I tell you, we are knocking on the door of something special. I really believe that.
Absolutely, Coach. Let's jump into it real quick.
Hold on before we go any further. Because I want everybody in the chat to know this is my guy right here. Yeah. The only thing I missed tonight, Coach, I wore green last week, but I had lost the bet. It was Mississippi Valley green. So that green just a little bit darker. What green is that Norfolk wear? Does that green have a name?
I don't know what the name of it is, but I think it's that honey green.
Honey green.
If,
I gotta go to the store and find me a honey green Norfolk State shirt. But
if he your guy, why you gotta go find it? You should just go down to Norfolk and be like, "Hey, coach, you know, can I get a brother? Can I get a Norfolk shirt?"
Don't worry about it, P. I got you, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why he's my guy.
I ain't gonna let him talk about you like that, P. I got you, man. Don't worry about you.
That's see what I'm saying, coach. I be on here. I be trying to let them know, and I be letting them know, and they be, you know, we'll just keep it moving. Now we'll just keep it going. But this is my guy right here.
Listen.
I said, behold.
Coach, can we get that live and in action right now? Can we get that 100% live?
Behold the green and gold.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's kind of like,
ought to be in the comment section. Ought to just be
behold everything.
Behold all in the chat. All right.
It looks forest green to me, but we're gonna keep it moving. Coach,
forest green.
It looks kind of forest green to me. You know, I'm just saying.
He said it's honey green.
See, he said it might be forest green. Thank you very much. See what I'm saying? I know my hues. I know my hues.
With a few more W's, it'll be money green.
Oh, I like that. Now, coach, let's talk about this Howard game. Very close game. You guys go up 17-9 at half. Howard makes a late rally to close it in. Perry said it best. You've been in these games. The last 3 games you've been in less. It's a touchdown or a less. Perry came on here and said, talked to you earlier in the year, said you're teaching your team how to finish. What going forward, how do you keep pushing that message to let them know, hey guys, we're right there of being that contender?
Well, you guys look at the progress. A year ago, we played a lot of freshmen, and we were not in these games. Games were lopsided. You look at this year, we've played 7 ball games. We're 2-5. Out of the 7 ball games, 6 have come down to the last minute of the game. We're 2-4 in those ball games. So the ball isn't bouncing our way. We're freshmen and sophomores, but we closed the gap on everybody in a short period of time. And it's just getting in a position. We were driving the ball. Howard had a personal foul. We were 2nd and 5, getting ready to go in and really go up a score. We had a 15-yard penalty, and that sets us to 2nd and 20. And on that drive, instead of getting a touchdown, we had to settle for a field goal. Well, they scored touchdowns in the 4th quarter. We scored field goals, and that led to the separation. But when you look at it, it's not a competitive advantage. It's not a competitive disadvantage. The young men that we have on our football team are battling every second of the way. We just need to taste that W, because I really think they're at a point to where they're ready to decide to be winners. And we just haven't got that crucial win yet. This Saturday ought to be a great challenge for us and give us an opportunity again to play another good football game that's probably going to come down to the wire. But hopefully, homecoming, it bounces our way, and we begin to build some momentum as we go down this stretch run. Because in the MEAC, every team is going to fight for these last 5 games to be the MEAC champion. We're like no other conference. You can see Thursday night, you watch Central and you watch Morgan, a competitive battle.
Yep.
Us versus Howard, a competitive battle. The only lopsided victory was South Carolina State versus Dale State. Now, you look at the next week, we got to take on that tough Morgan team. Central got to take on that tough South Carolina State team. And Howard got to go play Dale, who Dale coach came from Howard as the offensive coordinator. So it's just a juggernaut. It's a competitive league, and whoever wins it can go and beat anybody anywhere. That's how competitive the league is.
Absolutely. What you got, Perry?
You know, Coach, one of the things I have is a lot of people look at Norfolk State and they look at the success that you had at Southern, a situation that you were not having a losing season in pretty much damn near a decade. But coming to Norfolk State, you signed a 6-year deal. Talk about what it feels and what is it like to build. Because I always tell people in this age of the transfer portal, you're looking at guys looking to build a team now. You're looking at guys trying to get things going now. But I've always preached about how you build a program and what is it like in the process, because we live in an instant gratification society. I call it the microwave society, where people want it now. But to build a program does not happen overnight. What is that process getting to Norfolk State and being able to actually build a program from the ground up and also creating a culture behind a program?
Well, in today's society, it's difficult. It's very difficult. But what I tell people all the time, you have to establish 2 really good young recruiting classes. Once your foundation is set with 2 really good incoming classes, then your third class can be the missing pieces. And once you get the missing pieces, those 2 classes are going to be older. Now you're going to have sophomores and juniors. That's a lot different than freshmen and sophomores. When you have sophomores and juniors on a football team that have been through the growing pains of losing, you're able to create some consistency. And now you just go out and get the missing pieces to get you over the hump. Those freshmen and sophomores are getting us to the fourth quarter. They're getting us in position to play. We don't have enough upperclassmen to get us over the hump. Our best receiver, from a speed standpoint, athleticism, we lost him for the season. But we'll get him back next year. So that's going to add to that senior class that we only got 4 seniors. So we're doing this with 4 seniors. So we're still a relatively young football team. But I think people are starting to see that this thing could really, really become something special. And we believe that we've taken significant growth from last year to this year. And we know that if we can just get going this year, that's going to build some momentum. It's still in question on who's going to win our conference. You're still in a conference race, but you got to find a way to win football games. And hopefully this Saturday we're able to do that.
Coach, once again, everybody, we here live with Coach Dawson Odoms. Coach, let me ask you about a couple special players that I saw last Saturday. Your quarterback, Otto, he just seems like he does whatever you need him to do. You know, Coach, you need me to throw a 30-yard bomb, I can do that. Coach, you need me to go pick up a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, I can do that. Coach, you need me to, lead a drive, he does that. Talk about him maturing throughout the season and becoming more and more dependable for his team and for you as well.
Well, that's the growth process. If you look at it, Otto played some last year, didn't have a really good year, but you can see the growth in him this year. Not only do you see the growth in him on the field, you see the growth academically. He struggled a little bit. Now we're talking about a guy that's up around a 3.0, making good decisions. And that's what happens when you take young people and you build a program. They grow through some growing pains, and you got to be willing to grow through it with them. I was just watching Charlie Ward last night, and I was looking at how Charlie Ward decided to go to FSU. And when he became the quarterback, he started out with 13 interceptions, and the record at Florida State was 18. And the rest is history, but they stuck with Charlie Ward. And sometimes we want this quick fix, and success doesn't happen quick. I always tell people, if you get it easy and you get it fast, it's going to leave easy and it's going to leave fast. But when you got to work hard for it, you got a chance to hold on to it for a lot longer period of time. And we're having to work hard for it. But our guys are gaining some valuable experiences during this growth process. And you got to hate losing before you can ever love winning.
Coach, you look at your program at Norfolk State. For a lot of people, they may not have paid attention to Norfolk State over the years just because of the lack of winning that is going on with that program. But when you got there, what was it that attracted you to that position to take on the head coaching job at Norfolk?
Well, it's a beautiful place. I think when you look at Hampton Roads area, it's close to home. It's just like the state of North Carolina. It's side by side. It's close to family. but the opportunity to go somewhere and build something special. I look at it as they haven't won a whole lot, and facing that challenge of winning, you got to first win with the young men, getting them to do the right things, getting them to buy in, getting them to be better people. The winning will come when all the other little things fall in place. And that's the hardest thing about creating a culture. Everybody want to see that fast culture, that quick change. Believe me, when you change jobs, it don't always happen with the same success rate. But you have a formula, you keep your formula, you keep believing in what you believe in, and you keep pouring into these young men, and you find out the recipe. This is our second go around in the conference, and we have a better idea of what it's going to take to win the conference. But when you look at our conference, everybody plays with young guys because everybody trying to keep a locker room a certain way. And yeah, you can win right away going in the transfer portal. You can sustain success doing it that way. And it's no knock on people that do it that way. But when you get these freshmen and you got them for a longer period of time, you're going to be able to see once they taste success and you start sustaining it, then you can plug and play with the people that you need in order for that success to take place. But I feel like you can win a championship at Norfolk State, and I feel like you can win multiple championships for a long period of time. It's just you got to get it going, and that's the challenge, and we're up to that challenge.
Coach, Perry's going to end it with a Morgan State question, but everybody in the chat wants to know your coaching tree is fire. I mean, you got Trey Oliver, Chennis Berry. Speak to seeing those guys, leave from underneath you and go start their own, go lead their own programs and having very, very good success at those programs. Speak to your coaching tree.
Well, everybody's doing it the same way. You listen to them, you hear them, you're going to hear the same thing. We all say the same thing in our own unique way. Coach Berry's done a tremendous job. He's got his team on a second consecutive year where they could go undefeated, and he's going to be a hot name. And, he got a chance to get jobs at that next level and move up. And when you do that, you take that same recipe and hope you can have that same success as your next job. Trey Oliver's at home. He's where we play. There's probably no other job that's going to look that attractive to him. He's done a good job, and he's riding the success of a really good football team. But we all do it the same way. But when you look at it, and you look at it, it took Trey a little while to get North Carolina Central going. Berry inherited a good situation because he was able to take what we had and plug it into a conference that's really half and half. Half the teams are really good, the other half are not. And he's been able to sustain that by really getting some good players. He's got some players from Southern that has also helped him. So he's been able to just create an environment down there. And when you listen to him, it's the same message. And everybody's doing it. It's just, this is really our second year. Everybody realized we got there in May. So we didn't have a first year recruiting class. So this is only our second recruiting class. And usually that third year is where you see a significant difference in the program because you're finally turned it almost all the way over from a roster standpoint. But I can see we're close, and those guys are doing it the same way, using some of the same principles, and I'm happy for them. I pull for them all except if we got to play them.
Coach, I got to ask you, you got Morgan State coming up. Morgan State is one of those teams just like yourself. They've been right there in the hunt for a lot of games. And between Norfolk State and Morgan State, if the games, if the ball bounces your way, you're talking about two programs who can easily be 1, 2, and 3 at the best HBCU football teams in the country. But when you look at Morgan State, what do you see as you look ahead for your next game? What do you see that could possibly give you guys a tough time? Because it seems like when I look in the mirror, it's two teams that mirror each other, who have the talent, who have the opportunities, and it's homecoming for you guys. But, it's just falling on the short end of the stick.
Well, we're kind of building the same way. Morgan State has built their team defensively. They are a defensive juggernaut. Their front four is very special. They play defense the way you're supposed to play it. Coach Sewell is their defensive coordinator. He's done an outstanding job with those young men. Offensively, Coach Sherman used to work with us when I first got to Norfolk. He's doing an outstanding job. They got some skilled guys. They got some speed. Their offensive line is getting better. It's typical MEAC football. You got to be able to run the football to win this conference. And if you can run the football, you give yourself a chance to win football games. If you cannot run the football, then here come the heat. Here come the pressure. Here come the athletes, because now you're going to force teams to have to pass the football. And this conference will get after your quarterback. Big, fast, strong, physical football is MEAC play. And you got to be ready to go toe-to-toe for 60 minutes and beyond, because it's a slugfest. And you got to get punched, give a punch, take a punch, get off the ropes, saved by the bell, and try it again another time. But it's going to be a physical affair, and our guys got to get ready for it, because this is a very good Morgan State football team.
Coach, I got to ask you this. One of the biggest things is, a lot of people, we talk about the MEAC. We've seen the MEAC success in the Celebration Bowl over the SWAC. You've been in the MEAC for a couple years now, and you got a chance to see it up close and personal, as well as the success that you had in the SWAC for many years. For you, can you explain a difference in terms of what you've seen in the MEAC and what has allowed the MEAC to have success, especially when you talk about being able to claim the Black College National Football Championship, winning Celebration Bowls? What is the actual and real difference of MEAC ball to SWAC ball for a guy who's coached in both leagues?
Well, I really think it's several factors. That one, we hang our hat on the lack of respect that is given to the MEAC conference when it comes to football. We don't get the coverage that a lot of the teams in the SWAC get. So you don't really know the brand. You don't really know the quality. You don't really know how good the teams are in the MEAC. When you look at it, you don't see a lot of blowout football games. So a lot of the teams are battle tested. And then you look at the time frame. We're going to get, probably the MEAC champion will get 3, maybe 4 weeks of rest before they have to go play the Celebration Bowl. So you can get a lot of players back in 3 to 4 weeks. So they got to play a championship game. We don't have a championship game. So all those factors play a part. And then there's some really good coaches in the MEAC. They are going to run the football. So they go hit the SWAC in the mouth from a physical standpoint, and you got to bite down on your mouthpiece, and that's not SWAC football. SWAC football is wide open spread, score points. The MEAC football is to try to send you home in a stretcher, because it's a physical combat, and that's the difference. And when you watch those teams play in the Celebration Bowl, you see a different physicality from the SWAC and the MEAC. It's a tough brand of football, because the teams in the MEAC go try to run that football, and they usually got big backs, and they built a certain way with old linemen, and it's a physicality that come with them from that D-line.
Man, I love it, Coach. Coach Odo, we appreciate your time. Once again, for all the people, behold the green and gold. Coach, we hope you have a good homecoming. Hope it comes out with a W. We love to have you back on.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you guys. Behold the green and gold.
Hold on before you go, because I loved it. You my dark horse, so everybody got on me. Well, we going into week 8, week 9 of the season, Coach. Let's all that other stuff we was on. All right, let's get real. You was my dark horse for the season. Everybody was like, I don't know why you doing Norfolk. But what I want people to understand is how close Norfolk's been there. And I told them from our conversations a few weeks ago, you said we just got to learn how to play 4 quarters of football. Right. And I saw that early on when you came to Southern, you finally took over from that interim position. Southern was in positions in that 12 season and 11 where, they fell short. They played 3 quarters, but it was that 4 quarters of football. And all I'm telling them is, get ready to buckle up once y'all figure out how to play.
Listen, Coach. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna throw you away after Virginia State. Listen. Then you came back into the Towson game. I was like, yo,
He give me troubles every week, Coach. He give me trouble, and the chat give me trouble every week when they come to Norfolk. But I ride the ship. I tell them I'm riding it all the way, and I still think you got a chance. I ain't worried about. I saw that what they was doing last week on the sideline. They had messed up the chains. They act like they weren't trying to get you in position. I ain't gonna make no excuse, but I saw what was going on. I'm right there with you. Right, I saw you fussing. That crew. They wasn't even prepared for y'all, man. They wasn't getting. What happened on that where they messed up the chains? What was going on there?
Well, they moved the chains inadvertently, but the biggest thing was the first drive where they give the guy. I guess they called it inbounds. The replay was down, and one thing about officials, they're human. They make mistakes. I always tell our guys, man, is that we don't make no excuses. We had the same 60 minutes, the same opportunities, and if some things could have went our way, the game would probably could have been differently. But first of all, Coach Scott does an outstanding job at Howard. They're a good football team, and you got to think they were tied as slated as the co-champions from last year as well. So, but we took them wire to wire down to the last second. So we know we there, man. It's just like you said. We that thing could easily be, we could be sitting here and
5-2,
5-1, and
5-6-1. Yep.
We done lost every game that we've lost in the last. I mean, it ain't even 4 minutes, last minute of the football game. So we done come down to where it's been right there, and that's growth. That's growth, and I think our guys really hit a point Saturday where this might be the turning point, and hopefully we can play really well on Saturday, and maybe it don't come down to the final seconds of a football game. But knowing this conference, you're gonna have to play 60 minutes because it's gonna be a dogfight.
Coach, I don't even want to let you go because I got to ask you another question. Because a couple weeks ago, we would looked at your run game. It was like running back by committee.
Boy,
you was just yelling names out of anybody on the sideline to just come out and tote the rock. What is it special about? Because in this day and age, people don't have the patience when it comes to the run game. People like the ooh and the ah, but the run game, and to really stick with it takes a different type of patience, and it takes a different type of coaching style. What is it for you to commit to the run and realize that you have the depth at the running game and a quarterback as well that can do it with his legs in order to try to commit to that and stick with it?
Well, the biggest thing is that I believe that if you can run the ball and stop the run, you give yourself a chance to win football games. Time of possession is something a lot of people don't value. But when you can possess the football, you eliminate possessions for the opposing team. And when you can eliminate possessions, you increase your chances of winning if you can score when you have possession. So we understand we got to play complementary football. We got to get off the field on third down. We got to stop the run. And offensively, we got to be able to run the football and stay. We finna play against probably the best run defensive team in our conference.
Easily.
They're gonna do a good job against the run, and we go try to figure out ways that we can run. But we know this: if they load the box, we got a quarterback that we believe can throw it with anybody in the country. Just receivers got to make plays for them, and if they do, we feel like we're gonna have a good opportunity in this football game to come away with a W.
Last question.
My last question, Coach.
Now, let me go
ahead, Scotty. Go ahead.
Walker, you trust in a freshman, an explosive and a dynamic freshman like Walker to be a kickoff return. What did you see throughout the season and be like, hey, you're my guy? Like you can be a difference maker.
You asked that question, but all our backups are freshmen. I mean, Rembert is the off returner. He's a freshman. Biles Walker is a freshman. The backup to them is Kavon King is a backup. He's a sophomore. Another guy that's a backup that's back there that got his first touchdown is RJ Baker. He's a true freshman. So we brought those guys in to be returners because we wanted to increase our speed. They're true freshmen. Their bodies hadn't grown like we know they're going to grow in the offseason. Mm-hmm. But, to see those guys, Biles Walker dropped a pass in the Townsend game that would have sealed that game. We wouldn't even come down to the last. And he got down on himself. And to see him come back in the same pass in the Tennessee State game, he caught it. And to see them to understand as young freshmen that you're gonna miss some plays, but we're not gonna go away from you. We're gonna come back to you, just make the next play. And to see that growth through the first 7 games of our season from these young guys is the reason why we feel like we're real close. And just to see the difference from last week in Kavon King versus this week at Kavon King at tailback, the patience, the understanding, it's coming together. And when we put it together, I really believe it's going to be something special. And hopefully we can do it on Saturday and get some momentum going down the stretch.
Now, Coach, I got on this SU. That's where I know you most. That's where I've been in the locker rooms with you. I've been in the meeting rooms with you. I've been in the office with you. I've been on the sideline with you for countless years. Give me your most memorable moment from in the SWAC.
Probably the goal line stand win against Grambling in the Bayou Classic.
Ooh,
that was a phenomenal football game, high scoring, and to be able to stop them on no time on the clock, 4th and goal from the half-yard line. That one go stand out because that one was special, and those guys did an outstanding job all day long being competitive in that game.
I got to tell you, I love the way you was whooping Jackson State ass all them years. Hey, they all feeling themselves now, Coach. You wouldn't believe. I know you've been in the MEAC. It's been some time since you've been over here. They act like they forgot about all the ass whoopings, Coach. And so you got to see how it takes just 2 years, and they just so brand new. So I just want they act like they forgot it. I want to rub it in a little bit because they know your face all too well in Jackson, Mississippi, right? Don't they know
we had some good times against Jackson during those times.
You can say you whooped some ass in Jackson during those times.
I'll let you say that.
I'll say that because you ought to see how they act over the past 2 years. Coach. And I get it. They had some success, but they've act like it's been a decade of success. And I'm glad to have you on to make sure that face, that they reminded of that face that has walked out of Jackson with many ass whooping. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I appreciate you, Coach.
Oh, Coach.
I got to get back. Got to get back to winning ways, man, because Big Worm got to get back, and that's
Big Worm.
Yeah, we gonna make it happen. I'm proud of these guys, man. I tell our players all the time because the first thing you have to be able to do to see success is right around the corner. Is to be able to fight every week, even if you come up short. Is to be able to come out and do it again and see if you can taste winning. And every week this year, these guys have pulled themselves up off the doormat and said, you know what, Coach, let's go figure it out. Yeah. And with that attitude, we are knocking on the door. And when we get there and get the mentality to kick the door down, then we're going to have something special. We're closing in on it, and I think everybody in this conference know it too.
Absolutely, Coach. Hey, Coach, we appreciate your time, Coach. See you on Saturday. See you pull out a dub against Morgan State. Shout out to DMV. You already know where I'm from. So it is what it is.
Hit us with that behold one more time, Coach.
Behold the green and gold.
Hey, thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, listen, that was Coach Odom. Shout out to Coach O, man. Coach O's a real one, man. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't think he was ever gonna let him go, Perry.
That's how we are when we on the phone, man. Me and Coach, we sit on the phone for hours, and I'm sitting here talking to. But the conversations I have, I want people to understand how those come. You can see how easy it is to talk to him. Yeah. You can see, man. I mean, it can be late at night, it can be early morning. He and I, when I call, man, he answered the phone. And a lot of times we don't even talk about football. He's a guy that you can just talk about life, not even necessarily the game. But that's why I tell people when you look at what he's doing, a lot of people look from the outside because they don't understand who Coach Odoms is when it comes to building the program. And that's why I thought it would be good, man, to hear it out of what they say, the horse's mouth. I hope that gives people a newfound respect and understanding of who he is as a man and what he builds his programs. Not instant success or instant gratification in the season, but it's the longevity of what you look at programs that he sees. And if it did take growing pains, clearly you got to have patience, and he's okay with patience to understand growing pain, especially when we talk about dealing with young men in adversity. And in the society that we live in today,
it's
adversity has a lot of people dealing with stress, mental health. And so to see somebody who's still sticking to the old school way and say, hey, that's life. How you going to get better as a man, as a young man in life? You're going to have to deal with this adversity and you will get better. Success will come, but just be patient in the moment.
No, the thing for me in coaches doing these type of interviews, not the traditional coaching, and is where you really get to feel the vibe and understand who that person is and what they really stand for. Because he came off as super genuine. He came off as a as the uncle you would talk to, that you just say, hey, Unc, I got a question for you, or the father figure to where you're like, hey, this is what you need to do, go down this path, and to listen, he knows what right looks like. Right? When you doing it when you've done it at a program like Southern with the high expectations, with the history that you guys have, Norfolk State is not anything new to him. The expectations aren't nowhere near what they are at Southern. So it's like, hey, listen, I know how to build this the right way. Give me the time and I'll show you what I can do with it. Exactly what he said about Trey Oliver down at NCCU. You give him time, culture over scheme. That is his thing. That's his mantra that he has on his shirts, culture over scheme. And it's the same thing that Coach Odoms is building down there in Norfolk State. And it's the same thing what Chinnis Berry has built down at Benedict. So, man, it was a great interview, man. I hope he comes back, win, lose, or draw, to have him on many times to talk about Norfolk State. And maybe that dark horse will get a little lighter in the future. It won't be such a dark horse. It'll be a beige horse. And you can see it coming a mile away. You know what I'm saying?
You can see why I believe in it, don't you?
I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I can honestly say I'm a fan of Coach Odoms. I can say that. Now, I don't think Norfolk State going to be Morgan, because that's DMV all day. Just want to be very clear.
Save your picks, buddy.
I'm just saying.
Save your picks. But I just want people to understand, I don't just pick it just because you say he was at Southern. But when you get to know the man that's the head ball coach and understand who he is, it ain't about just the game to him. It's about real life, the character building, and the values of building young men and getting them into to be successful. They say KJ Black on cloud nine. Listen, it ain't cloud. I talk to them all the time. They act like that was my one time. I want y'all to get to see KJ. You didn't know how he was. You didn't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
My point was for the people. Perry know what's going on.
Yeah, he know. You know.
I know what's going on, but this was for the people to get a respect to understand who Coach Odoms is, because a lot of times with these coaches, you just hear them in their quick interviews.
Yeah.
You just see them at the end of a game giving a post-game speech, or you hear them at the end of the first half or starting at the beginning of the second half. But you really don't get a chance to see a guy sitting on his recliner in his living room and having a true conversation with you about who he is, about programs, and talking about other coaches, and also speaking highly of other coaches and letting you know the real of the difference between the MEAC, the SWAC, having an understanding, because a lot of people truly don't understand.
Well, I'll say this, and we got to move on. The thing is I used to always say that difference, that time difference is but when he said you get players back, that part I was like, I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think about any key player or any depth player, backup player that you get that 2 to 3 week rehab period just to get all those guys back. The SWAC's coming off maybe one week, you know what I'm saying, a half a week of just playing their championship game, rolling into the Celebration Bowl. So when he put it like that, I'm like, and for somebody who's been on both sides of it, I can understand that. I will say I can definitely understand that now.
And you see, he laughed at that Jackson State, right? So I just want to let them remind them. I want to show them the face of the man that's wanted in Jackson, Mississippi, of countless ass whoopings. All right, and he's 1-0 against Deion Sanders. Okay,
yeah, take a knee on him. Take a knee on him. Take a knee on him. All right, let's break down some of these other games. Let's break down some of these other games. NCCU, and let's talk about Morgan again. NCCU wins a close nip and tuck battle, defensive battle. Davis Richards, 16 of 30, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. Dominique Anthony, 17 28, 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Listen, I watched this game on Thursday. I'm going to keep saying it. First of all, that defense is freaking unreal, but it's only so much they can do when offensively you are inept. You are inept. And I said it, and I said it, and I said it when I was watching. I did a watch party for this. Morgan had to go up 10-0 in that first quarter when they had the opportunity, just so they can make it on the back end. I knew once they did not score that touchdown in the first drive, I said it was going to come back to haunt them. They got the 3. They had another chance to come back and score. They missed that. So I knew NCC, you couldn't keep them down forever. They come back and they win the game 16-10. Off of their defense, huge interception by, I think his name is Chambers. So what you got, P?
Hell of a game. You talk about Morgan State came out and set the tone in this game. And we've seen North Carolina Central put up points on the board in non-conference play. And we knew things were going to get shaky when you get two teams who know each other oh so well. North Carolina Central 4-16 on third downs in this game. So it showed how much Morgan State's defense stepped up and really caused problems for them. For North Carolina Central, only 201 total yards, 122 in the air, only 79 on the ground. But what North Carolina Central did good in this game, 0 turnovers. On the other side for Morgan State, 6 of 14 on third downs, 285 yards, 167 in the air, 118 on the ground. But you know what hurt Morgan in this ball game? 2 turnovers, 1 interception and 1 fumble. And when you talk about those turnovers in a game against North Carolina Central, you have to go in and play flawless almost, because they'll allow you to beat yourself and take advantage. And they did that in the second half and slowly chipped away. But Morgan State nonetheless had opportunities to win this game and put this game away. They just didn't take advantage of them.
No, they definitely didn't. And I'm going to say this. I don't know. I think Morgan State's defense is just that good, because I keep telling people NCCU to me is not special. Like, the only thing that's really special about them is Davius and Latrell. Everything else is just It really is just they're just You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Davius made the plays that they needed to make to get up in the game, but you know, it was the turnovers. It really was what Morgan did not do. And I agree. Somebody said, you know, that quarterback change really messed up the game for Morgan State. It really did. I thought Dominic Anthony was doing the best he could, and he wasn't playing bad, but that pick was just absolutely atrocious that he threw against Chambers. Next up, Alcorn 31, UAPB 7. Listen, Jarvion Howard has been kind of off this whole season. He gets back on track, 14 carries, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. I have to be honest. This is the game he looked like Jarvion Howard of last year, the Purple Rhino running through everybody. Now, I don't know if UAPB is just that bad or Jarvion Howard is getting healthier throughout the season, but he looks good in this game. UAPB, they finally picked a quarterback. They went with Chancellor Edwards, 19 of 37, 221 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm still on the Jalen Macon bandwagon, but who knows who's going to play quarterback at UAPB. What you got, Perry?
I would say to your answer, UAPB is just that bad. When you look at what they're giving up to Valley, what they're giving up to Alcorn, what they gave up to Southern, to be in this situation, you know, Alonzo Hampton sounds great when he speaks, right? If his speak was the play of the team, you consider them to never lose a game. But those guys have to believe to be able to win and what he's putting into them. Alcorn 5 of 14 on third downs. Alcorn put up 523 total yards in this game, 219 in the air and a 304 on the ground. This is the Alcorn that I know. The Alcorn that can run the ball and can pass it when they need to. A guy like Jarvion Howard. We've been looking for him to step up, and he stepped up big in this game with 14 carries, 155 yards, and a touchdown. 1 fumble in this game by Alcorn, but on the other side, UAPB struggled on third downs, 2 of 13, and 254 total yards, 209 in the air, only 45 on the ground. They got to find a way to get balanced, because when you got a quarterback with 37 passing attempts, that is a lot of passing attempts for that guy, with a fumble in this game for UAPB. But how about Aaron Allen? He is starting to ascend. 14 of 26, 2 touchdowns for 219 yards in this game. He's starting to ascend as one of the better pocket quarterbacks in this conference, and you have to now pay attention to him. I know all the eyes was on Miles Crowley just a few weeks ago, but I think now all the eyes have to be on Aaron Allen and what he's been able to do since he's found his rhythm.
No, I mean, found a rhythm. That boy is writing symphonies. Do you hear me? I mean, it just no, for real, over there like Mozart, just over there playing everybody like a fiddle. And I like I like that Alcorn is they're fixing the offense around him of what he can do well. It's not the RPO, hey, get out and run. It is simply, hey, we're going to drop this thing back, you read it and throw it. You know what I'm saying? Most of his half-field reads, but that's neither here nor there. He's making the throws, he's doing what he needs to do, and he's not putting the ball in harm's way. Aaron Allen is probably he's the best quarterback in the SWAC right now. It's not a debate. It's not debatable at all because he doesn't turn the ball over. He's putting up 200 to 300 yards consistently, and his team is winning. I mean, what else can you ask from a quarterback? If we're giving kudos to Musa, who struggled in the first half and then turns it around in the second half, we got to give it to Aaron Allen, who just plays flawlessly through all 4 quarters. So got to give Aaron Allen. And I know Alcorn fans should be raving about, because before it was all about Big Mako. Draco Mako, and that boy ain't been seen.
Who?
Exactly. What? Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones.
Who?
All right, let's move on. Next up. Stop. Listen.
That's why these are the cousins. We see them sometimes we don't, That's exactly why they're the cousins.
Listen, this is what happens when you move out and you go stay in that white neighborhood and you got the smallest house on the block.
They call the police on you every time you got a neighbor pull up.
No, you got the smallest house on the block, but we made it though. But we there though. In
Brick, ain't it? We got brick, ain't
it? Oh man, listen. In cat 10, Richmond 33. But this is the key though. This is the key. This Bama he went 0-1. And the one pass that he threw, I believe it was a pick six. You talking about bad? It can't get no worse than that. Oh, Jesus. They had 37 yards of total. Man, Barry, go ahead. Do your thing, man. Go ahead.
I don't have much in this one. I'm just going to say, when you can't pass for over 100 yards in a day, it ain't a team like Richmond in a talent-rich CAA conference, and you just find yourself on the back end of a 33-10 loss the way NCAT did. And listen, for me, knowing black college football, I went to see NCAT play in the Celebration Bowl. I saw Tariq Cohen. I saw what they were on the Broadway. I saw what they were on the Sam Washington. But to see where this program is falling at now, man, it's really hard. It's really hard to stomach. And I'm not even going to lie. This was the premier black college football team. And now to see where they at, man, it's really tough to watch them struggle through right now.
And he trash. Oh, God.
That's what they did when they threw that first pass. That's what the whole team said.
Boy, man, listen, that is just bad. Oh, and then listen, then it don't do no better. You go up yonder, and then I'm going up to yonder. Anyway, you go up yonder, right? And then they just get mollywopped. Christopher Zealous didn't play in this game. It wouldn't have mattered. Okay, Tamir Robertson goes for 20 carries, 119 yards. Zach Marker, I mean, you get beat by a dude named Marker. Anyway, 17-28, 239 and 1 touchdown, man. And first of all, and Delaware also didn't just beat you on the field. You then let the PWI people write an article to tell you how ass you are. Barry,
it was to the point they talking about this is why we going FBS. Because look who we letting into the neighborhood. It's time to move. Because we done let y'all into the neighborhood. It's time to get up out of here. Y'all riding through bumping y'all music. Y'all see smoking there because y'all grilling. We don't want that. And see, this is what happens when you go over there fucking with them folks, right? This is how they do it. They all walk you then talk about it. But even in this game, Hampton did pass for over 100 yards in this game. And Delaware right now, the #1 team in the CAA, and I think they flexed their muscles this past week against a Hampton team that I thought was better than what they showed in this game.
That's facts.
They simply didn't have. We talked about Christopher Zealous. He's been the factor for Hampton. And when he's not on, Hampton struggles. He's really their impact player. But I think right now, when you look at Delaware, they're the toast of the CAA. They're the toast of the conference. This is a playoff team. And I think right now, Delaware, when you watch the FCS playoffs, this is a team I think could probably make a push deep into the FCS playoffs.
No, every time I think of Hampton in the MEAC, I just think about Dave Chappelle when he was playing Prince, and he was just like, just come on, man. Just come on, man. Yeah, stop messing with the white folk. Yeah, you like, you want some of this too, old man?
No. Told you about coming down here messing with these folk.
You want some of this too? Yeah, anyway. Whoa, Jesus. That's crazy. All right. FAMU, Texas Southern. I'm pretty shocked about the score. I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought it was about to be a lot to a little, but FAMU does what FAMU does. They trip, fall, bump their head in the first half. Then they wake up. Willie Simmons gives them Space Jam water. And the next thing you know, the second half, they look like an unbeatable team. Kelvin Dean, 9 carries, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Shout out to Kareem Burke, freshman, scored his first touchdown, collegiate touchdown as well. Texas Southern is literally the Ladarius Owens show, okay? 19 carries, 128 yards, and my man does kickoff returns. He is the new Bishop Bonnet. He's the new grandma. What you want? I watch the kids. I cook. I fold the clothes. And I go to church on Sundays, okay? FAMU comes out, pulls this one out, 31-21. What you got, P?
14-0 caught everybody's attention, I want to say. I mean, texts went out everywhere. Y'all see this? Have y'all paid attention to this? Or do you see what's going on? It was like, really? What's really going on over in H-Town tonight on this Saturday night? You know, FAMU started out slow, and it was like, uh-oh, do we have an upset in the making? 8 of 17 on third down for FAMU. 435 total yards, 180 in the air, 255 on the ground. Musa with an interception in this game, but on the other side for Texas Southern, 4 of 12 on third down, 309 total yards, 178 in the air, 131 on the ground. They also have an interception as well. Jace Williams, 16 of 29, 178, 3 touchdowns, an interception. And then you look at Jeremy Musa, 17 of 32, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. 21 points in the third quarter. You saw FAMU come out. You know what FAMU reminded me of in this game? And I'll say this of Nick Saban's old teams. In the first half, they will come out and play your game. It's like they will play down to who you are just to play your game. And then in the second half, they say, enough of that. We're going to play our ball. And that's what I'm starting to see. It seems like that's what FAMU wants to do. They'll come down and play your level of ball and see where you will go with it. And it's like going into a fight and you stand there and you let somebody hit you 2-3 with their best punches. You look and say, all right, is that all you got? Now let me show you what I got.
Facts. And you know, that's a great point, Perry. God, no, KJ took my thunder. That's a great point. My thing is this. What I loved about you, okay. What I've noticed about FAMU is you always gotta lean a little bit, you gotta give it back to Willie Simmons, right? Because if it's let's say it's the Valley game, right? He comes back out in the second half of the Valley game, they start throwing the ball deep. Right? In this game, they didn't do that. They actually did the opposite. They were just hitting it short and allowing the players, Kareem Burke and Kelvin Dean and those guys to just get loose, and he started running the ball more consistently. So I just like how if you're talking about boxer, it reminds me of Floyd Mayweather, right? The first 4 rounds with Floyd, the first 5 rounds, he's just going to feel you out. It's a lot of blocking. It's a lot of, I want to see how far you can reach. Okay, I see this. I got you measured up. And then, bam, after that 6th round, you like, dang, I thought I had it in the bag. And then Floyd does what he does, and he wins the race. It's the same thing with FAMU. They fill you out. Willie Simmons goes in, gives them the Space Jam water, and next thing you know, they just run the tables, and they do, 31 unanswered or 17 unanswered points, and you don't even look at you about to score anymore. So it's a recipe that works, but it's also a recipe for disaster, because if you meet a team that isn't afraid of FAMU, that feels like they can keep up and have the firepower with FAMU, then you can put yourself in a hole. But until it happens, they just keep winning.
The finesse guy. Can't nobody be me.
Ain't nobody.
Hey, Willie Simmons is the finesse guy. He finessed his way out of Houston, didn't he?
I call him the Bishop Bonnet 2.0, Bishop. There you go. I call him the Bishop Bonnet 2.0. All right. Let's get to the next game. Okay. Southern Bethune.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was there.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
Don't do that.
Bethune's there. They just couldn't close the door. Stupid stuff. Punt going over the punter's head. Just dumb stuff, right? Southern ends up pulling it out, 28-18. Kendrick Grimes, 22 carries, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Luke Sprague, 19-31, 159, 1 touchdown, NIT. Listen, that Bethune-Cookman defense, it's a work in progress, but it's pretty legit. It's pretty nice. That front four is pretty legit. The DB, I always miss this kid's name. Number 1, plays very well when he needs to, but they just get outlasted by teams. Like, they just can't finish games. They can't. After that third quarter, they just die down, and they don't have the same intensity. What you got, Perry?
First of all, I hate this game was played in that big stadium with nobody there.
Nobody.
Oh man, nobody was there. Bethune fans, I should have known y'all wasn't gonna show up after losing homecoming to Texas Southern. Then for Southern fans, that is a long way from Baton Rouge to go and talk about doing a turnaround trip. But nonetheless, Southern was able to get the victory 28-18. A slow start. Bethune jumped out 7-0 in the first quarter, but Southern then found itself 14 points in the second half and kind of kept it going. Bethune didn't score again until you look towards the latter half of the second half. 6-13 on third downs for Southern, 338 total yards, 156 in the air, 182 on the ground. But an area that concerns me with Southern right now, and I talked to Coach Dooley about it today. I did the Coach Dooley show today. 13 penalties for 115 yards. Ooh. That is something that this team is going to have to clear up, because factoring in turnovers and penalties, you can lose a game simply off that, especially when you give up a football field and some of the penalties. 2 turnovers in this ball game, an interception by Harold Blood, and as well as a fumble in this ball game for Southern. On the other side for Bethune-Cookman, 4 of 18 on third downs, 280 total yards, 237 in the air. They struggled running the ball, only 43 yards rushing in this ball game. They also had 2 fumbles, an interception. 2 turnovers, an interception and a fumble. Harold Blood, 10 of 12, 156 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. He also did a little on the ground. He did a little bit. 9 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown. But Kendrick Grimes, I know it's been Gary Quarles that we saw, but then Kendrick Grimes stepped up. And like I told Coach Dooley early this week in the press conference, watch what the success of the previous team had against your opponent coming up. And we saw what Ladarius Owens was able to do on the ground against Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman, if you can run the ball, you can have some success against him. And I think that's what you saw with Southern, running the ball and being able to find success. And that's what Kendrick Grimes was able to do.
And if you go back to the Jackson State game, it's the same thing. They wore down, they warmed down. And then in the fourth quarter, they bust out a big run that seals the game for Jackson State. Listen, what it feels like when I watch Southern's offense is this. If you guys don't have any type of run game, it's going to be a long day for you all. If you get success with Gary Quarles and Kendrick Grimes or whoever decides to get off, makes the game a lot more easier and manageable for you all. But it's not a pass first type of team. It's like we got to get that run game going to make everything else kind of work its way out. But
it keeps Harold Blood from having to think so much.
There.
Being in that role, and Harold Blood still is not that guy from the quarterback position. And one of the things I've noticed about him, he eyes down and stares down his receivers. He's not comfortable with timing. He has to see it, in which he got sacked 4 times in this game. But when he gets sacked, normally it's because he's eyeing down receivers and he has guys there. If he can just learn to trust where the ball needs to be, the receivers there. And I think when you look at Southern's receiver corps, Petrie, Whitfield, Howard, all of those guys, if you can give any one of these receivers, because Petrie had a big touchdown, a big reception for a touchdown in this game. If you can give these guys the ball in space, they all can be playmakers for Southern. But it's going to come down to Harold Blood being able to get comfortable in the backfield and getting that ball out, not by what he sees, but by what the timing of the routes are.
No, I agree. And the one thing about, I like your receivers. I've always liked Petrie. Cameron from Rice, I saw his tape. I was like, the kid is a big playmaker. You just got to give him the opportunity. And I don't know if Harold Blood's there to get, like, he's comfortable enough throwing those 50-50 balls up to August, or is Dooley even allowing those type of throws to be made? We shall see. Listen. This game was ugly. But Jackson State pulls it out 21-6 over Valley. Valley scores super late into the game. I think it was a 98-yard drive or 95-yard drive with like 28 seconds left. Jacoby Morgan comes into the game. He starts this first game for Jackson State, 20-36, 141 and a touchdown. Jackson State's defense has 3 NITs against Ty Jamarian. Valley, I cannot say that kid's first name, but I'm gonna just say Fant. 4 carries, 99 yards, 1 touchdown. Like I said, comes out of easy. Listen, like I said, how do you win this still look bad? I don't know. Houseway, who knows? But when I look at this JSU offense, it literally looks like somebody just trying to make something work. And there's no continuity. There's no concise, like, Mike telling me earlier, we running Liberty offense. Now it's supposed to be speed up, then they slow down, and then it just doesn't look cohesive. And I just don't know where they're supposed to go from here. This kind of year is just strictly kind of like a tester, a filler out year with this offense and style of play. But what you got, Pete?
Beautiful thing. I saw a picture of Jacoby and Morgan as he started and played in this game. His dad showed up, and it seemed to be a very emotional moment for him in this ball game to have his dad there to watch him play in this ball game. And he showed 20 of 36, 141 yards and a touchdown. Jackson State 6 of 13 on third downs, 318 total yards, 141 in the air, 177 on the ground. 3 fumbles for Jackson in this game, though. Tough when you talk about coughing up the ball. But for Valley, 4 of 16 on third down, 291 of total offense, 165 in the air, 126 on the ground. 3 interceptions for for Valley. 3 fumbles for Jackson, 3 interceptions for Mississippi Valley. You talk about Tajarian Williams, 16 of 27, 155 yards, 3 interceptions. That's just tough when you look at that. And then I'm going to call him DeFabian Fant. That's what I say. 4 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. You're starting to see Valley look like they're trying. And, if you want to see a team on the opposite end of UAPB and you're looking at a team like at that bottom of somebody that's trying, Valley is giving effort, right? And you saw that the way that what are you laughing about, man?
I thought, like, with the little engine that could, with, like, a major pain.
They trying, bro. They trying. But, this is just, once again, it's just hard. Even though with the score, it's just hard to go to Itabena, Mississippi.
It is.
Like, I don't care who you are. We saw FAMU struggle for a second. Perennially, we've seen teams that you thought were the favorites. Then we watched A&M go in there and get their butt whooped one year at Valley. Then we watched PV go in there and get their butt whooped at Valley.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tough.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if you don't come to play, but luckily for Jackson, they wasn't that far from home. So they had a crowd of people, a band. They had some energy behind them. And I think that energy is what got them over the hump over there.
Yeah, for me, when I'm watching this game, Tajarian, it's too, no, that's not, I'm about to say pause. He's just too unrefined. Like, I know a lot of people are like, the kid is just too unrefined as a quarterback. I knew it was going to be a problem. If you go against a high level defense, Tajarian it's tough to have him as your quarterback. His windup is long. His throws are weird. Like, his balls flutter a lot. He's just a kid playing you just feel like he's a kid playing the game. Like, it's like when you're like the biggest kid on AAU and you're like, hey, you're my center. You be like, I want to dribble. You're my center. Like, that's really what it is at Valley. It feels like it's like he's the biggest kid. You're like, hey, you're our quarterback. And it just looks unrefined. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to be coached up at that position. And if they keep riding with him, it's going to take some time for him to really hone in his skill set to be a high level college quarterback. Because right now it's.
Let me ask you this. You look at Jackson State not playing Jason Brown, but instead playing Jacoby and Morgan. What do you see in terms of the difference when you look at this offense with the quarterback change and without an Irv Mulligan?
Irv Mulligan is the straw. Like, he is the straw in that drink. And you can tell because they look out of sorts for everything else. They do have capable backs, but it doesn't look as clean. It doesn't look as controlled when they have Irv Mulligan in the game. I like Jacoby and Morgan of what he can be. Because that Bama ran over that corner, like number 3 times. Yo, it's like he wasn't even there. He's like a gnat hitting a wall, just like boom. That's the stuff you get with Jacobian. But there's some throws, you're just like, what? What is that? So it's a bitter pill to swallow. I think there's a higher upside with Jacobian, but you got to coach it up. You gotta coach it up. I think in that game he probably wanted to Jason Brown because he would have kept it. He would have beep, 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 beep. He would have kind of like picked you off and methodically worked the ball down the field. But at some point, you got to see what Jacobian is, and you got to give him that. And I think that's a great game to give him an opportunity against Valley, and then going forward, you know what I'm saying, him against UAPB, you get to see that and him going forward with that.
When you look at Jackson's quarterback room, when you talk about what you've seen from each quarterback, do you think perhaps they have the best quarterback room in the conference?
Who? Jackson?
Yeah.
Hell no. Jackson got the best quarterback room in the conference?
I'm asking. I'm not stating, but I'm just saying. It seems like they're giving guys chances, and they're trying to figure out which guy can be the guy outside of Jason Brown. But they're real like they're giving guys chances.
Dog. That's like going down to the unemployment line and say who got the best job. All y'all fired. All y'all Bama's is fired. What do you mean you got the best job? All you Bama's is fired. I think, yeah, that's not. Yeah. That quarterback room is it's like a bare cupboard. It's just like, hey, you got noodles. Yeah.
You got Jackson State. You know, I was just trying to help them out a little bit.
Ain't no help. Ain't no help at all. All right, let's get to these homecoming spoilers, and we'll get into some more week 9 games. Homecoming spoilers, you already know what it is.
Oh, goddamn.
South Carolina State takes down Dell State. Listen, Corey Fields, I don't know. That Bama is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You just don't know what you're going to get, but when it comes to MEAC play, he does his thing, 14-21, 165 yards, 1 interception. Listen, man, Delaware State is just a lost cause, bro. They're just a lost cause. They're like that kid that just can't get right. That's Delaware State. They just can't get right. Very simple. You good? We good on this one?
I'll talk about it because South Carolina State surprised me offensively. 522 offensive total yards, 165 in the air, 357 yards on the ground, Scotty.
They got a bad freshman, though. He cold. That freshman cold.
Tyler Smith, 12 carries, 122 yards and a touchdown. Juwan Howells, 13 carries, 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you talk about from the wide receiver spot, Justin Smith-Brown, 8 receptions for 120 yards. And then Corey Fields Jr., 14 of 21, 165 yards and interception. But when you talk about Smith-Howell and Smith-Brown, man, you couldn't ask for a better day. Explosiveness is what you saw from South Carolina State. This one had to be entertaining if you're a Bulldog fan because you start to see your team grow, and this is what they need now they get into MEAC play. They need to find who's going to be their playmakers because you're going to need them when you're taking on the Norfolks, the Morgans, the NCCUs, and all the Howards and all of those schools.
Absolutely. And, you know, talking to Coach Odoms earlier, you already know what it is. MEAC, what they're going to do. They're going to run the ball. That just is what it is. All right, listen up, guys. Got another special guest for you. You know, they say they're from the highest of 7 hills. Now, recently that has been people have come out and say they're not really the highest of 7 hills. No, that's a controversial topic. We'll talk about that another day. But please give it up for Coach Willie Simmons. What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Man, I don't even know why you start lying. Like that's the truth. We are the
Call him
highest
out,
of 7
Coach.
hills.
Call him out.
We're the highest point in Tallahassee, built on the highest of 7 hills. That's factual.
Coach, I know you be on Twitter, Coach. There was just a couple pictures, and they just had a couple different hills, and it just you weren't at the top of it. That's all I'm saying. Listen, I'm not from Tallahassee. I don't know how it worked. I'm just telling you what I seen on Twitter. That's all I'm telling. That's all.
Okay.
Coach, see if you can turn it the long way. Turn it the long way. There we go.
There we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay, Coach, I like it.
So, Coach, I don't know if you've ever seen me on this show, but you got a nickname, and I'm going to put it on the shirt. You are the finesse god. I don't know if anybody ever told you. I've never seen nobody be able to finesse a game or finesse much. Like I feel like you can show up to a concert and don't have to pay. You just walk in. You can walk out of a restaurant and don't have to pay. You just a finesse guy. You got that about you. So anybody ever told you that?
No, I never tried it either. I try to pay everywhere I go and try to make sure that my money's good.
Now you're a finesse guy. That's your name, man. And so if you ever hear somebody say the finesse guy, that's Perry White talking about you.
Okay, I remember that.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about your recent outing with Texas Southern. What is going on with FAMU and their slow starts? You guys, I mean, Perry had a good analogy that you're a fighter that fights down, and then you guys wake up in the middle of the round, and then you're like, all right, let's stop playing with them. But what are these slow starts? What can you attribute that to for your team?
Well, it's funny you use that analogy because it's the same one I use. I'm a huge boxing fan. So when you have those prize fights, typically the first couple of rounds are boring. They're just trying to fill each other out. You're trying to see if the guy's jab sticks the way it looks on film, if his right cross is as powerful as it looks, if he's as fast as it looks. And if it is, then you say, okay, I got to fight. If it's not, then, you can kind of coast through this one and win on the scorecard, So I think for our team, because we know we're talented, we know that we can score in bunches and we can stop people when we want to. It's a task trying to motivate a group that knows they're talented to just come out and have that kill a mosquito with an axe mentality that, Coach Jake gave the coin a long time ago. So, we come out and in Saturday's game, I thought we did the same thing. We kind of came out playing as individuals, kind of doing silly stuff, personal fouls, a couple of drop passes, just not locking in and focusing. And we found ourselves in the middle of a dogfight there early in the second quarter. And we were able to put a touchdown on late. And at halftime, that's basically what I said. Like, we got a choice to make. We can keep playing as individuals, roll the dice, and just think we're so talented that we can beat anyone playing poor football, or we can come together and be a family like we talk about and play like we're capable of playing. And thankfully, they chose the latter. And we came out and had 4 straight scoring drives. They didn't cross the 50 until the last drive. And we put them away like we knew we should have from the beginning. So this team's an enigma. It's by far the most talented team I've ever coached. But it's also the hardest team I've ever coached because I think we have a lot of really talented guys that sometimes don't think it's important to do it all the time, that they've been allowed to get away with that type of stuff. And, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. We can get it fixed sooner rather than later.
Coach, I got to ask you, you've had the opportunity to coach in the SWAC. You were at Alcorn. You went to Prairie View. Then you went on to FAMU. You coached in the MEAC, and now your team is in the SWAC. If you've had success in the SWAC since you've been in it, what is it that you see about SWAC play from your perspective, have been all the way around at multiple institutions in both conferences? What do you think has helped you to find your success, especially in the SWAC, when you look outside of those 2 losses to Jackson State, but everybody else, you seem to be able to find ways to get out of tough situations with a W next to your name?
Well, I think winning has a formula. It starts with really good play on both sides of the line, having really good offensive line play and dominant defensive line play. And we worked really hard to build that everywhere we've been. And then the next thing is obviously quarterback play. You got to have a quarterback that's efficient, that can push the ball down the field, that can make good decisions and be able to get the ball to the playmakers. We're in the South. The thing about the SWAC, you're in the South, Florida, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, Alabama. You're going to find speed. They're going to be athletic guys all over the field, but you got to get somebody that can get the ball to them. And I think you look at the elite teams over the last however many years, you go back as far as you want to, it was always probably the team that had the best quarterback. And so I think that's a formula. And it's not just in the SWAC. You look at the MEAC. Who's the best team in the MEAC right now? North Carolina Central. Who's got the best quarterback in the MEAC right now? North Carolina Central. And so I think that formula, they're really good on the offensive line, and they play sound defense. And so that's a formula for success no matter what league you play in. I think just because of the passion of the SWAC and how much people love football, it gets talked about a little bit more. But we just try to build a formula that breeds success, and that's good offensive and defensive line play, elite quarterback play, and then not beating yourself.
Coach, you play quarterback. You have your quarterback, Jeremy Musa. You've heard the rumblings from fans, Twitter, the chat around. How do you get through to Musa and keep that connection of saying, hey, we're here for you through the bad play, through the good play, and him still come out and plays at a high level, even in the beginning of the half, because in the West Florida game, he plays bad in the first half. He comes out, it's spectacular. To me, I think the personification of you guys' relationship was in the Southern, when you had to have a drive and to go up in that game, and you did a masterful 4-minute drill, you and Musa. How do you keep that connection and understanding, like, this is my guy, we're going to ride with this guy, and he's going to get you to where you want to go?
I'm gonna answer that question in a second. Are you really interviewing me with what's on your sweatshirt?
Okay.
I'm about to get off this phone, man. This dude trying me, man. This dude really trying me right now. Like, how you really gonna interview me with that sweatshirt?
Listen, so I picked Bethune over Southern, and Bethune doesn't get much love in the HBCU street. So I was just rocking with him today, and but you know what's crazy? When I interviewed Coach Terry Swims, if you go back and watch the interview, I was wearing a FAMU shirt. So
okay,
that don't make it right.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. But I'm gonna find that, and then I'll give you credit for that.
I'll send it to Josh.
I'll tell you, like, I think I can answer your question, because I really was like zoned out for like.
Hey, Coach, tell him to talk to you with his hand across his chest.
Because when I first saw it, I didn't really see it first, and I was like, hold on, let me zoom in a little bit closer. Like, this dude really got.
Look, he's gonna get up out of it.
Yeah, we're gonna finish this interview right. He's gonna have to come about that. Like, I'm not gonna be able to focus on the question that he's asking.
I'm glad you didn't say nothing about this Southern shirt, but I know what you was focused on.
I appreciate. I ain't worried about Southern shirt. You can wear that all you want.
Don't do me like that, Coach.
You can wear a Southern shirt. He can't wear that. He can't wear that shirt. But no, in all seriousness, again, you got to have a great relationship with your quarterback. And Jeremy, and I coach the quarterbacks, and so we meet every day. We have that type of relationship. Jeremy knows that I can be hard on him at times, but it's because of the expectation that we both have for him. He is an elite talent, and so when you're an elite talent, the expectation is that you play at that level all the time. And so we talk about it during games. Sometimes I'm tough on him. Sometimes it's just pat him on the back, but most of the time he figures it out. And so I have the utmost confidence in Jeremy. And then the sign of a good coach, in my opinion, not trying to pat myself on the back, but as a quarterback, I always wanted to play for a guy who allowed me the ability to figure the game out. When things get rough, like, that's not the time to pull me because I played a bad quarter or I played a bad half. Like, what if I took that philosophy with our team? Well, that means I sit our team at halftime, because we played like crap the first half against Texas Southern. The entire team, offensively, defensively, we played like crap. So I can't sit the whole team. So why is the quarterback held to a different standard that everyone's calling for the quarterback to be pulled whenever he throws an interception or misses a throw? Like, the expectations just are different for that position. So I told him from the beginning, I don't want you to ever play looking over your shoulder, worrying about if I make a mistake, coach is going to pull me or I'm coming out. Like, that's not a comfortable place to be in. I was in that position as a college quarterback. When I started, that was the feeling I had every day. It was, if I'm not perfect, I'm getting benched. My very first start after I lost to the University of Georgia by 3 points. They ended up finishing third in the nation that year. We lost by 3 points. My coach came in and told me on Sunday, you got to play better. And I was like, oh, here it goes.
Yeah.
And I was just counting down the days at that point. And ultimately happened week 8. And so I never want our quarterback to feel that way. So Jeremy knows I have the utmost confidence in him. I trust him. I'm going to put him in position to be successful. And when he's on, I don't think there's anybody better. And so, yes, he has lulls where he misses some throws or might miss a read. But he's shown over 2 years, a year and a half now, that he can lead us to victory. I mean, the guy's record is only like, 19-2, something like that, over the last 2 years. That's pretty damn impressive.
Coach, I got to ask you a question. First of all, I hope we didn't scare you too bad in Baton Rouge with the light show, at the end of the third quarter. I hope it wasn't too much for you.
Look, don't overplay that. I wasn't scared about a light show. I saw my crazy team at the hash and their team at the hash with no lights on the field and not enough security if something popped off. That was the fear. I ain't worried about no lights. I grew up in Quincy. We always grew up with lights off. So,
I just wanted to make sure I had that went around. They took that little sound bite and said, you know what, Coach said he was a little scared in Baton Rouge. So
I know I got a team full of knuckleheads that at times, and I'm sure the boys from Baton Rouge feel the same way. So no, that was it was I probably used a poor choice of words, said scared, but no, it was an intense moment because our team was, again, you never want teams to come on the field. Yeah. It's complete darkness. And so I don't know where the officials are. they're on the hash, we're on the hash. It's 12 yards separating us. And so if something pops off, like you can't break it up in time. So, you know, I think our team has a level of discipline, and Southern's team has a level of discipline that it wasn't going to, you know, but for a split second, it was like, okay, this a little while to have this going on in a tight ball. It's a tight ball game. Like this is a game on the line. It's been chippy the whole game, you know, and so that was the only reason I said that. But no, it was a good atmosphere. I just hope y'all keep paying that bill, because you turn them lights off and they don't come back on. It's gonna be some problems.
But this was the question. Scotty, don't do all that, Scotty.
Who controlling them lights? That's the question. They put a lot of trust in that guy who controls them lights. Whoever that person is, boy. I mean, it's a lot of trust in that person.
Oh, man.
This is the question I want to ask you, and Scotty and I talked about it 2 weeks ago. But when I look at the SWAC now with 12 teams, we talk about the East and West Division. You're talking about having divisions. And I know the SEC, now that they're expanding with Texas and Oklahoma, they're going away from divisions. I know they talked about maybe having regional pods. They was trying to figure it out, but then they ultimately said, you know what? Let's go with the 2 best teams at the end of the year that are at the top. And I know for you, Prairie View went in 2021, Southern went in 2022. But let's be real, Prairie View, North Southern was the second best team in the conference. Clearly, FAMU was. How do you feel in terms of when you talk about divisions? Because I know you had to feel snubbed knowing that your team had won those games in October and November like you were supposed to, but you were the second best team. And I think when it comes to a championship game, competing for a Black College National Championship and saying we're going to have a SWAC championship, if I'm going to watch a SWAC championship, I personally want to see the 2 best teams, not a team just because you won a division while you got another team that hasn't lost the game in 2 months. But for you, what is your thoughts on maybe doing away with the East and West Division and maybe just playing with those 2 best teams that's at the top of the pile?
Yeah, you know, I spoke on that on another radio show, I think this spring, on the Mike Prince show. And in my opinion, you know, it's just my opinion. I think if you're in a conference where everyone plays, there's no need for a championship. You play it on the field during the regular season. So the team that finishes with the best in the MEAC, there's no need for the MEAC to come up with a championship game. All the teams play each other. So whoever comes out of that with the best record, they're champions. If you have a tiebreaker, you have a tiebreaker formula, head-to-head, points scored, FCS rankings, or whatever you base it off of, whichever formula for the champion. In our respective conferences, well, we don't play everyone. And so I don't think you need a quote-unquote championship game. You just let the 2 best teams, like you said, play a championship, because you're trying to determine who the best team is out of the conference. And if you say it's based on divisions, well, again, we've seen it in many years, not just the last 2 years, but many years. My first year at Prairie View in 2015, we lost 1 game in conference. It was to Grambling. Grambling went undefeated. But because we were in the same division, Grambling got to play, I think, Alcorn in the championship game, who I think lost 3 games that year in conference, or 2 or 3 games in conference. And so I think a football enthusiast would say, I want to see the 2 best teams play in a championship game. Because let's say we don't, like this year, we don't play Grambling. Well, if Grambling had the best record and Southern had the best record, is it fair that a team on the East that has 3 or 4 losses can play a championship game? Now, it hasn't happened yet, but 1 year it almost happened to where you even look at the Celebration Bowl. Let's say that 3-loss or 4-loss team, a 3-loss team probably is about the most you can lose and still mathematically have a chance. But let's say that 3-loss team has a day in the SWAC championship and they win the SWAC championship game. Well, then they go into the Celebration Bowl to play the winner of the MEAC. Is that truly the Black College National Championship? Because you have a team going into it with multiple losses. So I think just to get the best quality of football that we can have for our fans, for sponsorship opportunities, TV opportunities, I think it would maybe behoove us to do away with divisions from a championship perspective. I think you still may keep divisions for travel and logistics. So you never want to have a situation where Southern doesn't play Grambling, Alabama State doesn't play Alabama A&M, Jackson doesn't play Alcorn, we don't play the little school down the street. Like, you want to keep those together. And so there's some natural rivalries that you never want to do away with. But I think if you're going to play a championship game, then it's a championship game. The 2 best teams should play. And that's just my opinion. I know some may disagree, but I've kind of felt that way for a while.
I get it. Coach, listen, homecoming. It's big down in FAMU. Coach KJ Black told me, he said, if I haven't been to a FAMU homecoming, I haven't been to a homecoming. You're playing PV, which I think this is an absolute Crazy game. PV's coming off a loss with Houston Baptist. You guys are coming off a win at Texas Southern. What are some of the keys to this game for you all against Prairie View and what you guys are looking to do? I know you can't go deep into the game plan, but just overarching, what are some of the things you're looking to do and stop what Prairie View does very well?
Well, for us, it's the same every week, so it doesn't matter the opponent. Offensively, for us, it's about being able to establish the line of scrimmage. And so we got to find a way to efficiently run the football. Doesn't mean we got to run for 200, but we got to be efficient in the run game, and be able to be multidimensional to where we're just throwing the football every play. I think when we're most successful, we actually run the ball more times than we pass it. Last week, I think we had 44 rushing attempts, and I think, under 30 passing attempts, or right at 30. And so if we can do that and be efficient, that's where it starts. We got to keep Jeremy upright. No quarterback is going to be efficient when they're getting hit, not even getting sacked, but just getting hit. So we got to do a good job of winning up front, picking up pressures, and being able to let Jeremy get comfortable in the pass game. We got to protect the ball at the end of the day, not beat ourselves. And then defensively, it's simple. Stop the run. Stop the run, eliminate the big plays, and do like I tell the defense, make them snap it again. If you just make the other team snap it again, I think we've shown over the last 3 years since Coach Ryan Smith has been coaching the defense that you're not going to consistently move the ball against us. You may have a drive here and there, but consistently you're not going to do that if we make you snap the ball again. So that's always the secret for us. And then special teams, we got to win the field position battle. That's what special teams does. It allows you a chance to flip the field every time you take the field or the points on the line. So win the field position battle, take the points that are given to you, run the ball on offense, stop the run on defense, protect it, and then again eliminate the big plays. That's always a formula for us. It doesn't change based on the opponent.
Absolutely.
Coach, can I ask you a question? This one is a little bit deeper away from you actually coaching at FAMU, but it's overall being just an African-American coach, period. With the success that you've had at FAMU, and you look at white coaches who are out there who may not have had so much success where they at, but they get opportunities. You look at a place where you at, what we like to call HBCUs, limited resource institutions. And the fact that you've been able to find success with limited resources, the fact that you've been able to bring in talent, the fact that you've been able to send talent elsewhere. Do you think that it is tough? And I shouldn't even say that. How do you feel in the college football realm, especially when you see the lack of African-American coaches on the Power Five and as well as the Group of Five conferences? How much do you feel they shun you simply because you're Black, but you have the ability to go anywhere and coach? Because you look at what you're able to do from the offensive side by calling plays. You look at what you're able to do in terms of putting together FAMU's program who had struggled for years, and you found success there, and you continue to build on that. But do you feel you are shunned just simply because you're Black? Because I think what you're able to do at FAMU, you take a coach like you and you put them anywhere, you can find success, you can build something, and it shouldn't have to come down to the color of your skin. It should come down to the ability of what you have.
Well, I mean, we give a lot of attention to that issue with football, primarily, college football and even NFL. But if we're being honest, I mean, isn't that the story of Black people in this country?
That's fact.
What field can you say that on the equal plane we get as many opportunities? I don't think you can find one. So we're always, I grew up in the only predominantly Black county in the state of Florida. But again, I'm sure just like you guys probably heard, just like generations before us heard, it was that old notion that you got to be twice as good to get half as much. And so again, every day we understand that the expectations for us are always through the roof. We have to almost be perfect. There's a huge misconception of the quality of ball that we play in the SWAC and the MEAC. And it's so much so that even, when I speak on national panels and I have an opportunity, and people may take this the wrong way, but I don't even use the term Black college football or HBCU football. I say there's no such thing. It's Division I football.
Yeah.
We just happen to coach football at historically Black colleges and universities, but there is no HBCU football. We play Division I football. But when you put yourself kind of in your own bracket, and I know there are people who talk about the Celebration Bowl and not going to the playoffs, and that's a different conversation. But the masses view us as almost less than. Like I have to remind people in the Midwest, on the West Coast, even sometimes in the Northeast, that there is a difference between Division I and Division II HBCUs because they kind of put us all in the same category. So they don't know the difference between Tuskegee and FAMU, Benedict and Howard, Virginia State and Norfolk State. They just think, oh, it's black college football. Y'all are all the same. And so we have to remind them that the success we're having it as Division I coaches, not just me. But you look across the board, Trey Oliver at Central, what he's been able to do. Broderick Favre during the Grambling heyday. Who was coaching better football than Broderick Favre during the heyday? Yeah. But you look at the facts, since 1979 when Willie Jeffers did it, there's only been 3 instances of coaches coming from HBCUs to become head coaches at PWIs, which Willie Jeffers did it before I was born. Jay Hobson did it. Jay Hobson doesn't look like either about anyone on this call. I love Jay. That's my brother, but he don't look like me. And then an anomaly, like a one-off, Deion Sanders did it. So you either got to be, at least from what it looks like, you either got to be of a different skin color or you got to be a walking billboard, right, to do it, because that's the respect that he was able to garner. But it's frustrating at times, to say the least, that there's so many quality coaches at this level, like to do what we've been able to do, like you said, with the lack of resources, with some of the challenges that we face. It's amazing, the sustained success that coaches have been able to have. And then, God forbid, you have a losing season, then, we're in an era now where our fan bases are becoming more and more fickle. And a coach like Broderick Favre, who's won more than anyone at the black college level over the course of 7 years, gets fired after a bad COVID year, literally. I mean, he had a bad COVID year and he got fired a year later. And so it's just frustrating that we're in that constant fight to be compared with our contemporaries and also produce at a level that's satisfactory to our administrations, to our fan bases, all the while doing what I think we do better than anybody in the country, and that's genuinely pour into the lives of these young black men that are going to lead these institutions and go out and be successful. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do more than anybody else. Like it's about relationships at the HBCU level. That's what these coaches are doing, because it ain't about the resources. Kids play for us because they know we care about them.
Yeah.
They ain't getting NIL money. They ain't getting cost of attendance. They're not flying all over the country. They're riding 8, 9, 10-hour bus rides. They're eating in the caf every day. That closes at 7 o'clock. And they're playing for coaches because we care about them and we're pouring into their future. So, again, I think the decision makers, when they really dive into it and look at it, hopefully they'll take notice. Not saying that we're all trying to leave and go places, because there's some coaches that, again, Eric Dooley said it on multiple occasions. He never wanted to coach anywhere but HBCUs. It'll be hard to get Trey Oliver from North Carolina Central. He's an alum there, so it's probably got to be a pretty good penny to get him out of there. So, and this is home for me. So, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we just want, not saying we'll take the opportunities, we just want the opportunities to be there, because that shows us that people respect the jobs that we've done over 100 years in black college football.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach, I've coined the term Willie gone Willie. Right now, the term now, the reason I coined that term is because I've seen you in situations where, in the Alabama State game, where the ball is being thrown, where you can just run the clock out. I've seen you in situations where in the playoff game, I'm expecting Bishop Bond to get 20 carries. He doesn't go that way. Now you have a team, Kelvin Dean, Terrell Jennings, Yance. And how do you keep that balance between being a high-flying offense or throwing the ball around? Because the one thing I've seen, it doesn't matter. Any week it could be somebody. It could be a man to go. It can be Nick. It could be Kareem Burke. How do you balance controlling how the ball flows and really pushing that running attack with those 3 big backs that you have?
Well, I think the thing that, and not just our offense, I think with the advent of RPOs in the college game, I think coaches are getting a little bit further and further away from true run pass percentages. If you look at our call sheet, I call probably 3/4 run, but every run has a pass tag associated with it. And so it's based on what the defense gives us. And so if a team comes up and says, okay, hey, we're going to stop the run, because for us, that's our number one mandate. No matter if we're playing a team that throws for 400 yards a game, I'm going to tell our defense on Friday night, stop the run. Because if they throw for 400, that means nobody can stop them. So we're probably not going to stop them for throwing for 400. But if you turn around and let them run for 200, now you're giving up 600 yards of offense.
Yeah.
So stop the run. So if teams adopt that philosophy, they're going to commit themselves to putting more guys in the box than we can block. And if that's the case, Jeremy always has the option to take the gift. We call it a gift. If someone gives you something, you take it. So if the defense gives you a hitch outside, a slant, a speed out, a stop route, take it. And so we're able to throw the ball, and we include that in our run percentage. And so when we break ourselves down and we look at our efficiency, we put all those passes that are under 5 yards that we throw in the run category to determine how efficient we are. So the normal fan might say, well, coach, you threw the ball 45 times the other day. You only ran it 25. Well, I called 50 run plays to 20 passes. But Jeremy threw the ball because the defense gave that to them. So, yes, we want to establish the ground game. Just like I said, if we show we can throw the football pretty much against anybody. If we can run the ball too, I think we're almost impossible to defend. But you got to be efficient. So if we're only averaging 4 yards a carry, that's not very efficient. We need to be closer to 5. And so when we look at ourselves after a quarter at halftime, are we efficiently running the ball? Then that kind of determines how much of a commitment you make to calling those run plays, because now it's about pushing the ball down the field a little bit more if you're not being effective. And so you got to manufacture offense some kind of way. Yeah. So I look at all those things as a play caller, but I think probably in the last 7-8 years, I think I've gotten away from looking at true run-pass ratios, because, again, 90% of the plays that we run, there's a run-pass option that's attached to the play.
Just a few more questions, Coach, and we're going to get you up out of here. P, what you got?
This is one of my last questions, Coach, because I look around and a lot of people use, and we've said this here, that HBCU football attendees aren't true football fans. They're there for the atmosphere, right? They there to see what the band is going to play once Willie Simmons called that play and tell Jeremy Moose to throw that thing. No, we're going to run that thing, right? Whatever the case may be when they get a touchdown. But for me, I want to ask you, what separates the landscape of SWAC football, MEAC football? And I'm with you, because a lot of times when I'm watching games, I hate when they say this player is the best in all of HBCU football. I hate to limit ourselves because I want to put ourselves Division I, FCS. But what seems to be the separation when you look at those top tier FCS programs, and then you come down to where you look at your rank? North Carolina Central is ranked currently in the top 25, but it's hard to get the love. But what's the separation from those programs like the Sacramento States, the Northern Iowas, the North Dakota States, the Youngstown States, those type Sam Houstons who have moved up, Jacksonville, and just to name those? What's the difference that you think really set them aside from HBCUs, particularly like FAMU and many others?
Well, I think one of the things, obviously, and when you look at the top 25, a large percentage of those schools are Northwestern schools. Yeah. So when you look at the University of North Dakota State, they're the flagship schools in those states. South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, those are the flagship schools in the state. So guess where all the resources are going? To those programs. We're fighting against every state school in Florida for resources. And so same as Alabama State, same as Prairie View, same as Grambling, same as A&T, same as all of us that are in the Southeast, where we're one of many. And so I think that's one of the biggest things. The alumni base at those places are coming from the flagship schools in those states. And so if you're a big money booster that graduated from North Dakota State, well, guess what your allegiance is to? North Dakota State football. And so you're probably a politician in the state of North Dakota. You get to make decisions that affect the North Dakota State football. When you go to the Fargo Dome, like the whole state of North Dakota is going to the Fargo Dome to go watch North Dakota State play football. So I think just the footprint that they have in that general region of the United States gives them a chance to have a little bit more resources than we do. You look at the budgets of those places. I mean, they top ours 3-1. You know, our most budgets in the SWAC football wise are somewhere between probably $6 million and about 10 to 12 million. Well, that's athletic budgets. I'm sorry, athletic budgets are somewhere between 6 million and 12 million. North Dakota State is probably 30. I mean, look, James Madison, before they moved up to FBS, had a $40 million athletic budget, and they were playing FCS football with a $40 million budget. So just the sheer resources, we go back to that word, I think it's something that separates them from us. But as far as the pageantry, I'll take the SWAC over any of those conferences. I mean, the love that we have, and yes, Many of those fans are there to see the band. Hey, I'll take it, because guess what? When you pay to see the band, that money goes to the athletic department. So all you that love HBCU bands, come to the football games to see the bands play. Please, we need you to buy those tickets. FAMU, the Marching 100 is the best band in the land. They put on an amazing halftime show. Every band, every halftime show is going to be a spectacle. So buy your tickets, come to the game, and all those dollars support the athletic program. So hey, look, I grew up in the era where at halftime, take attendance, because in the third quarter, it's going to be empty. Fortunate for us, we've been able to put a brand of football together that our fans actually do stay to the end. So, we're excited about that. But no, I still believe that the pageantry and the SWAC is unparalleled in FCS football. I truly believe it. And that's why we've led the nation in attendance, 49 of the last 50 years? I mean, it's something special about SWAC football. And that's why I was so excited to come back to the conference from the MEAC. Much love for the MEAC, but it's nothing like the atmosphere in the SWAC. It's not even close.
I love it. Coach, I want to ask this question in a way that you don't give up any secrets of what you do, but I just love your play calling. Like I love how it's not rigid, right? It's not like I'm going to do this and this is what I do. It's not that. It's always like it's like, oh, you want to stop this? I'm gonna move it here. I'm gonna do that. And I did a breakdown on your Southern. Sorry, Perry. I did a breakdown on your Southern 4-minute drive of how you isolated Kamari Young on the outside, how you use them in the flats, because I always keep saying tight ends are so underutilized in the SWAC that they go missing. A lot of linebackers don't want to guard it. For you, when you're coming up with a game plan or you're filling out the game, what are some of the things that, as a play caller, you're like, I think this will work right here? Like, what are some, like I said, without giving the sauce up, just some of the things that help your fans understand? Because people are like, why'd you call that play? Or why is he doing this? Or why is he doing that? But I always feel like there's a method to your madness of how you manipulate the game and how what you did in the beginning comes out. You set it up for the fourth quarter. So if you could just talk a little bit into that, and I'll let you go.
Yeah, well, I think play calling is a science, just like anything else is. And so when I look at play calling, I kind of look at it from two aspects. One, just pure scheme. What are they doing? And then what can we call that can attack what they're doing, right? That's where it starts. So the first thing we do every week is we're going to look at their film. We're going to look at formational cut-ups to determine what their base calls are against our base looks. And so if they're a team that plays quarters, well, obviously there are things that attack quarters. Yep. We want to get those plays on the call sheet. They play cover 3. They play man coverage. They're a pressure team. Whatever they do, you want to make sure you have calls, obviously, that attack that. That's common sense. I don't care if you coach football, basketball, whatever. If they play a 2-3 zone, you want to run plays that attack 2-3 zones. So it's the same concept in football. That's the first aspect. And then the second aspect is just comes down to playmakers. Like, you better go out there and get you some playmakers, because at the end of the day, you think players, not plays. Yeah. And so when you're having Xavier Smith, you could be a really good play caller when you got a guy like Xavier Smith running and catching balls. When you have a quarterback like Ryan Stanley and now Jeremy Musa and John Gibbs that I had at Alcorn State, Trey Green, some of those elite quarterbacks that we've had, you look like a really good play caller when you're able to have a guy that can process all the information and get the ball where it needs to go. And so I told the team in the team meeting on Sunday, like, I get called a great play caller. I've made a ton of terrible calls that people think were the best calls ever, because Xavier Smith caught a ball and made a guy miss and went 60 yards to the house. There have been perfect play calls in a perfect situation. They went 0 blitz. We called a jailbreak screen. There ain't a better call you want in all-out blitz than a jailbreak screen. Fat lineman got tripped up and didn't get out. And the receiver got annihilated by the one guy that's left on the defense because everybody else is blitzing. Yeah. You're getting booed out the stadium because that was a bad play call on 4th and 6. But again, so play calling is an art, but just like in anything else, they're basketball. Whoever coaches Steph Curry is going to be a great offensive mind. Like, he gets past half court, he can make the shot. Yeah. So I can coach Steph Curry. You can coach Steph Curry. Now, if you're coaching Russell Westbrook, yeah, you might. You gotta change it up. You got to find a way to take advantage of what he does, because he's not an efficient shooter. And so it's the same thing in football. I think the coaches that are looked upon as great play callers, they have a knack for one. Well, let me say this, and I know we're getting long-winded. No, you're fine. I don't do it myself. Let's put that out there first and foremost. I call the plays, but I got 4 coaches that are in the box on the field that we talk after every series. what are they doing? Because I look at the point of attack. So when I call a play, I look at where the ball's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at the coverage. I'm not looking at the backside defensive end. I'm not looking at the drop of the linebacker. I'm looking at the one read key that the quarterback should be looking at to determine if he made the right read.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't get good information from the press box to say, hey, coach, they're clouding this side of the field. Like we found out, and this is last year, we played Grambling. We found out after the first drive, they're clouding the coverage to wherever 19 is. And, we moved Xavier Smith all over the place.
Everywhere.
Their game plan was wherever he went, they want to spin the coverage that way to try to double him. Well, if the guys up top didn't see that, I'll be sitting there calling plays designed for Xavier Smith that's covered on every play.
Yeah.
But I had to tell the quarterback, hey, they're clouding Zay, so go through progressions and get to the backside because that side is going to be open. So I think it's the combination of good coaches in the box, having players who can execute your scheme, and then just figuring out what your guys can do. Call plays that fit your personnel. And I think when you say I'm gonna do just what I do, I think that's bad coaching because a quarterback one year is different than the quarterback the next year. Rashawn McKay is totally different than Jeremy Musa. So if I just said I'm gonna run the same offense in 22 as I ran in 21, that would be bad coaching because you got two quarterbacks with two totally different skill sets. John Gibbs, what we did in 2013, 14, 15, or 13 and 14 looks nothing like what we do today. Wow. Absolutely nothing like it because you had a 6'6", 210-pound quarterback who can run like a deer. Didn't throw the ball extremely great, but he can run with the best of them. So we ran for almost 300 yards a game and probably threw for 160. Well, then we go to next year and go out to Prairie View, and I got Jonte Hebert who can play receiver, running back, and do whatever. And now we're spreading the ball all over the place. Then we come to FAMU, you got Ryan Stanley with a weak run game, and we threw the ball for 300 yards a game. So again, I think it's all about figuring out what your guys can do, putting them in a position to be successful, and then your assistant coaches got to help you. And if they do that, I think you can have success as a play caller, and I've been blessed to do that. But I still say it to this day. I made a ton of bad calls that look really, really good. I made a ton of great, very, very, very great calls that look like crap. And so there's no perfect formula for being a play caller. It's just a feel.
I think my favorite play that I've seen you call in my time being in the SWAC had to be at the Florida Classic. You're under center. You rarely go under center. Play action. Xavier Smith comes in motion. You send him on. I think it's a post corner, corner post, and I mean it's just him and Jesus, just wide open, just him and Jesus. I was like, that's dialing it up. What's up, Perry? What you got?
Coach, I got one quick one, and it's a yes or no, and then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question about something else. Do you remember that minute drive against Southern?
This a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. When they had
ran the ball, did you drop 8?
Well, I tell you what, y'all off the chain, man. Y'all off the chain. I don't know. You got to ask.
Yes or no?
I call offensive plays.
Okay. All right. Next question.
But I will say no. In all seriousness, though, because again, I know. Like as a coach, head coach, a play caller, like we catch a lot of heat. They ran the ball. I think the first or second play of that drive, and something happened. I think there was a penalty or something.
It's a false start. It would have hit. On the left side.
It was wide open.
Yeah.
It was wide open. And so it was enough time then. They popped out when they got a chance. Now, the last one, obviously, it was under a minute. The clock was running. I don't know if they had any timeouts left. And so, but again, if they're handing that ball off and that kid pops it through and he scores, y'all are calling Air Dooley a genius. Let's be real. You call him a genius.
I just want to know, did you drop 8? I get it. Had it worked, yeah.
But if he throws the ball and throws an interception, then what? We say it all the time.
Yeah.
When you throw the ball, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. The one good thing can happen is you can complete it.
Yep.
It can be incomplete, or you can throw a pick.
Yeah.
Or you can get a sack. So really 3 bad things can happen when you drop it and throw the ball. So, I mean, again, it's a field. I ran the ball 4 times last week on 3rd and 8 or longer, and we converted all 4 of them. I look like a Dean's play caller, right?
Yeah, that did shock me.
And I appreciate you with the coach's response, sticking up for the coach.
No, it's not sticking up for him. But if I run it 4 times, if I run it 4 times last week and I go 0 for 4, y'all are on here talking about me. Like Coach Simmons, I thought he was a good play caller. Like that was stupid. Why are you running the ball?
3rd and 8. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if
and that's when Scotty gonna say, "Willie gone Willie." That's what Scotty.
But when you got 3 down linemen, I mean, it makes sense to run the ball. That's just my person. I mean, if you naturally have 6 DB.
But guess what? In basketball, when a team is down by 6 or whatever, and they just start jacking up threes, Everybody, when they miss it, you're like, that's terrible. Just take the 2-point shot. But guess what? If they make those shots, now they're. I mean, I'm only a great play caller when the plays work.
But it worked.
I'm a bad play caller when they don't work. I've been called a good coach because we won a ton more games than we've lost. And so I will defend any coach in the decisions that they make because, like I told the team the other day, y'all make us look good and you make us look bad. When y'all execute, we look like geniuses. When I guarantee you, when he looked at that play on film, somebody had a critical breakdown. Whether we dropped 8 or not, somebody on that field probably had a breakdown. Somebody lost their block because we're tackling them at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Which means somebody didn't block the defensive lineman. And I guarantee you the play wasn't designed for somebody to not block the defensive lineman. And so it's a field. It's 2 minutes. You try to anticipate what they're going to do. You don't see a lot of 2-minute situations on film. So it's really just kind of go off of what you feel at the time. So, again, that's your job, is to be critical of every decision that a coach makes. We understand that. But I think Eric Dooley is a great play caller. He has been for a very long time. And when he does it, when he has players that can be exceptional, like Devontae Kincaid and Martez Edwards and Chester Rogers, man, he lit the scoreboard up. And nobody could stop him.
And this is the second question. I'm done. What can we do better as a conference to promote our brands, especially coaches that have had success like you, the players, the countless players that you have brought through your program, and not just football, but athletics? What can we do better as a conference from your perspective in order to enhance what we have? Because we got the crowds, right? You say for 40 years, can't nobody touch us in attendance. We're talking about the pageantry and the atmosphere. For 40 years, can't nobody touch it. I tell people all the time, I don't give a damn how good Youngstown, Northern Iowa, Sacramento State, ain't nobody at them games, right? But it can be the 2 weakest SWAC schools playing it with a packed house, get more attention, more national audience than those schools. What can we do better in order to grow our brand in this age of digital media in order to enhance guys like yourself, your players, and just the name FAMU, the name SWAC, and the many other 11 other institutions in the conference?
Can I be candid about my answer?
Hey, you come on now. You're outspoken, coach. This is all you.
And you can cuss if you want to.
Nah, I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna pull a TC on him.
We gotta effing stop somebody. I got you. Go ahead.
One, get off roughing the SWAC. What now? And I'm joking, but I'm serious in the aspect that it's almost like we trash talk, but we cut deep. Like we cut deep. And so if a recruit's looking at roughing the SWAC, I don't know if there's a school that's like, yeah, I need to go to that school. Because we air all the dirty laundry. Like, I mean, we throw each other under the bus to no end. We talk about the coaches. We talk about situations that happen. And we don't care how low we go. Like the darkest moment in FAMU's history was Robert Champion. Like that was the darkest moment that we've ever experienced in the 136-year history of this institution. And people will bring that up and talk about it. Like that's not something that you bring up. Like, yes, you lost a game. Yes, you're upset. But you don't talk about that. The water issues in Jackson. Like that's serious stuff. Like that stuff really affects people. So when we go and talk about that stuff, like what recruit wants to go to a place that ain't got dirty water?
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So I talk trash with the best of them. You probably do as well. But we know that there's a line to draw. Like, okay, as bad as we're talking trash to each other, like I'm not, because there's still supposed to be a mutual love and respect. I joke around with, I say the school from the side because we don't say the name, but I love Bethune-Cookman University. Like I have the utmost respect for what Mayor McLeod Bethune did to start a school and give African Americans an opportunity to get a higher education. So there's certain things I'm just not gonna say. Like period. I'm just not gonna say that because it hurts all of us. We're associated. Like HBCUs are tied to the hip, whether you like it or not. And so when you talk about one of us, you're talking about all of us. And so the issues that we face, the struggles that we have, on the way we can come out of it. And this is one thing I think Prime was trying to tell everybody, and he got caught a lot of flack for it. Like, we got to stand together in this thing. Like, the only way for us to uplift ourselves is to do it together. Like, we got to put each other on a pedestal. So, yes, your job is to be critical of coaching decisions. But how much are you talking positively about the job that these respective coaches are doing, as opposed to saying they need to be fired? Right? If everybody needs to be fired, then what school is worth going to when the coach needs to be fired every week, regardless of what happens? When Jeremy Musa needs to be benched every week, like what quarterback wants to go play for a place where you can be preseason player of the year, lead the nation, and lead the conference in passing, all this stuff, and you need to be benched? So I get it. It happens everywhere. But I think we just got to be mindful that even though social media is leading, digital media and all those things, word of mouth is still one of the greatest influencers in this generation. Like people listen to what's being said. And I tell our alumnus all the time when I go raise money, they say, Coach, how can we help? How can we? Yes, you got to raise money, but talk positively about our institutions.
Yeah.
Like we got to talk positively about it, because you put some positive on social media, you're going to get 10 likes. You put some on there, you put some on there about the Water Jackson.
Yeah.
It's nationwide news. Like that's the perception of HBCUs, and that's why we have to fight. We fight harder as coaches in the recruiting game than any coaches in America. And when I tell you, like, we fight harder than any coaches, and I'll say this and I'll get off my soapbox.
No,
and I say it every time I go. And I played at Clemson from 1999 to 2002, transferred out in 2003. U.S. News World Report, the same publication that ranked us the #1 public HBCU, top 100 in the country, all those things, ranks more than just academic success and more than social mobility. They rank what they call party schools, the top party schools in America. That's based off drug use, alcohol consumption, all these different components that they use to determine who are the top party schools in America. When I was at Clemson, we were #2 in the country. The only school that partied harder than Clemson was Indiana. So I don't know what drugs they were doing that our people weren't doing, but they were ranked higher than us in party schools. Florida State, across the street, was ranked #7.
Wow.
FAMU, Howard, Grambling, Southern, Prairie View, none of us were even in the top. None of us were even in the rankings.
Wow.
Every home I go into, the first thing parents says to me,
it's a party.
I hear FAMU's just a party school. Based on what metrics?
Yeah.
Based on what? Because the statistics say we're not. The statistics say we're a top 100 public institution. The statistics say the school across the street parties way harder than we do. But Mike Norvell never has to go into a home and convince people that they're not a party school. Why? Because our people who came here, who didn't do what they're supposed to do, who flunked out, all they talk, man, I couldn't succeed, man, because all I did was party while I was up there. But that's your fault, dog. That's on you. Don't throw the school under the bus because you didn't take advantage of a great opportunity while you were there. And so we have to dispel so many myths in the recruiting process about the quality of education we can get, about the party school aspect, about the safety on our campuses. Like, most of these Black college campuses are gated. Like, they're literally gated institutions, but we got to talk about the safety on campus. We're on the south side of Tallahassee. Perry Street, which if you come to homecoming this weekend, is going to be flooded. And there may be some stuff that goes down on Perry Street that might get in the paper on the next day. Perry Street is not a part of Florida A&M's campus. So if somebody gets shot on Perry Street, God forbid, but if somebody gets shot on Perry Street, it's going to be reported that there was a shooting at FAMU. No, hell, it wasn't. It was a shooting on the south side of Tallahassee. And so all these myths, like, we got to continue to dispel these myths, and that's how we can uplift the brands of our institutions and not be whitewashed to think that I got to go to a white institution to get a quality education. Like that's asinine to me. Like, my entire family are Black college graduates. Me and my cousin are the only two that aren't. Everybody else in my family, over 50 graduates, all graduated from HBCUs. And vast majority of them are successful. So don't tell me you can't get a quality education at an HBCU. And that's what I think we got to do a better job of in the media, with our fans, with everybody who talks about these respective institutions. We got to sell the good stuff. Like sell the good stuff. Let's stop talking about all the negativity and all the stuff that goes on. Bad stuff happens here just like everywhere else in the country. But most of that stuff gets swept under the rug because they're trying to protect the brand. We are trying to get social media likes and become somebody popular on social media. So we gotta respect our institutions a little bit better than we do. But I love the pageantry. I love the passion for HBCU football, for the SWAC, for the MEAC. We're committed to ending this streak, Celebration Bowl. Hey, SWAC taking it home this year, and we want to be the representative.
Go on, Coach. I love it. Man, listen, Coach. I
don't know about y'all wanting to be the representatives and all, because I know a school in Baton Rouge
that already lost. That already lost. That already lost. Like, what are you trying to backdoor your way into a championship again? Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? Come on.
I had to let him know they ain't the only one looking at that thing.
I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised you asked a question about no divisions where you benefited from.
Well, I asked that because I am the football fan, right? I love my institution. I love Southern, but at the end of the day, I'm like you. I love black college football. I love football, period, whether it's FCS, Group of 5, Power 5, but most importantly, my attention is here. I, for a championship, wanted to see the 2 best teams play. And regardless if it was Prairie View or Southern, I love Southern, of course, but I wanted to see the 2 best teams play. And I thought FAMU, not losing the game in October and November for those 2 years, you were the best, second best team in the conference. I would have loved to see that. And I think playing Jackson State that first week and to watch a whole season unfold to get that round 2, that's what people want to see. That's what sells tickets. That's what the viewers wanted to see. So aside from my love from an institution, it's more so my love for football. And I want to see who's the legit best team coming out of the conference. And the only way you can do that is legit putting the 2 best teams against each other to play. So I was for that. And that's why I'm asking, because as an advocate, I wanted to see FAMU and Jackson State play that game 2 times around both years, honestly.
I did.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that.
Well, Coach, listen, we appreciate your time, Coach. Listen, we would love to have back, win, lose, or draw. We'd love to have you back on. You know what I'm saying? See, you're a vibe, Coach. You're a whole vibe. In the SWAC press conference, you come off as real tight-lipped. You know what I'm saying?
He don't be trusting them other cats, man. Them other cats are political with him.
Hey, you got to know your audience. Like the all-script audience is roughing the SWAC. Like it's all the like, y'all want all the smoke. Y'all want all the smoke. So
listen, roughing the SWAC. They like your mama suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you talking about my mama? Here off script, we be like, your hairline messed up. It's about you. It's about you. You know what I'm saying? It's individual. We ain't going to your mama.
Right, you ain't cutting deep. Right?
You know what I'm saying? We gonna
Scotty will cut deep. I don't know what he talking about. Scotty will chop your head off if you allow.
No, he'll fire you. Scotty will fire you now. He'll fire you. But that comes with the territory, so he's not unique in that aspect. But no, I get it. But you're right. I hadn't seen too much from Scotty. Roughing the SWAC, man. And I'm not in it. My wife is, but. Man, when Jackson lost homecoming and they shut that site down, I said, boy, this thing here is off the chain, dog.
Listen, you know me. I love a good Jackson State loss. Ain't nothing better than Jackson State loss. But last thing, Coach, before I let you go, I would love to do a film breakdown with you of just of some of your plays over the season and just like your process and how, after the season's over and stuff like that, just how your process of, hey, I saw this, I called this, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Musa was here, he was feeling it, or he saw this and stuff like that. So I would love to do that with you one day. I'll come down to Tallahassee, you know what I'm saying? Have Josh set it up and, y'all do your little fancy stuff, y'all little digital stuff, fam, y'all talk game. So I would love to do that. I'd love to set that up with you. You know what I'm saying? We can make that happen. I appreciate it.
No, man, I think that would be great. I love to do it. I know the other coaches that would love the opportunity to do that, and not for our own self-gratification, but I think that goes to the point of how do you help, uplift the brands, like for them to sit down and see, and I tell our fans that too, the ones that are really critical, I say, hey, just come down and sit in the staff room with us one day. Since we don't know any football, just come down here and sit with us. And then if you sit with us for a day and say, you know what, I was in the staff with Coach Simmons and he don't even know how to draw 11 guys on the board, then you can say we don't know football.
Yeah.
But you'll sit there with us and you'll see all the intricacies that go into how a play comes together. There are 11 moving parts. Yeah. So we got to put all these 11 moving parts together. You'll be like, dang, man, that dude pretty sharp. And I guarantee you'll say that about 12 of the 12 coaches in this league. Like, there's some really good football coaches that are coaching in the MEAC and the SWAC. Like I said, we just don't get the just due because our teams may not be performing at the level that people expect them to perform. But you give us Alabama's roster, you give us Florida State's roster with the resources that they have, full-time sports psychiatrists. If you just give me a full-time sports psychiatrist, we won't have that the first quarter breakdown that you're talking about. But these jokers crazy. Like this.
Hey, Coach, I always say, if you had the resources like Alabama, you went to Alabama, you had all of these video analysis, offense, but can Nick Saban come to Florida A&M with the
and do what you do?
And do what you do.
He will walk off the campus in 2 days. he would tell them, y'all would take this job and you know what with it. Like,
that's right.
They wouldn't survive. They wouldn't survive. And the coaches that have made it at these places, they were wired like that. Like you can see, they weren't cut out for this. Like you got to have man, you talking about some thick skin, some like you can't wear your emotions on your sleeve, like you can't be a complainer. Like you just got to roll your sleeves up and go to work at all these institutions. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes us what we are. It builds grit, it builds toughness, mental toughness as well. It teaches you how to handle adversity, you know. But no, don't man. Like, and that's what happens a lot of times when you hire these coaches that have come from Power Fives that come down and try to coach it. Like, they ain't built for it, dog. Like
it's different.
It's different. They ain't built for it. You got to have a real tough skin.
I'm sorry. Last question. Real talk. Coach Rez, listen, man. When that FAMU bat signal goes up, I be geeked. I don't know about everybody else. One, that's the coldest graphic I done seen on in the Twitter space. But when that bat signal goes up, how has Coach Rez, like you guys, I mean, fam, you always say, listen, fam, you in Florida, you can spin around and hit a rock with a kid with dreads and run a 4.3. But just I mean, that's Florida. You know?
That's true. That's true.
Y'all chasing rabbits, they say.
You know, hokey, yeah. I had a couple guys, but how has Coach Rez and his recruiting chops, you know, really changed? Because now the expectation, because the thing that I love about what you guys have done, even in the prime days, was it was no slack off like, oh, we can't recruit with them. It's like, nah, we gonna go get those guys, and we still are going to go get those guys. So how are you and Coach Rez, you know, made that work? Because that, I'm telling you, that FAMU bat signal, that thing legit.
Well, I think one, just being able to have a guy that's solely committed to recruiting, you know, and it comes back to resources. So we had to kind of be creative in how we created that position, because for years, you know, a position coach was the recruiting coordinator. And so you think about the middle of the season, like who's trying to be organized in recruiting when you got a game to prepare for in 6 days? And so just bringing on Coach Rez in a strictly recruiting role has been a godsend. And to have a guy who, when I tell you, and I've been doing this thing for a long time, I've never seen someone more passionate about recruiting than Devin Rispers. Like, that joker texts you at 3 a.m. Hey, 5-star gonna be here in the morning, dog, at 6 o'clock. I'm like, God, hey, boy, man. but he's on it. And this is a quick real story, and this will speak to it all. So Devin came to us spring of 22, last spring. It was probably a week before our spring game. So obviously we wanted to bring recruits to the spring game, you know, have a junior day type atmosphere. So I told all the coaches, hey, call your recruits in your areas, especially the local guys, invite them to the spring game. We had 12 guys registered a week before the spring game, 12. Devin came on. I finally got them hired, got them onboarded, and it's probably maybe 2 weeks before the spring game. In 2-3 days, we had to shut down invites. We had 200 kids registered in 3 days. In 3 days, we had 200 kids registered for the spring game. We had to shut down registration. Like, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I ain't talking about Joe Blow around the corner who's a 5'9" offensive lineman. I'm talking about 3 stars. I'm talking about kids coming from Atlanta, coming from Orlando, Tampa, even South Florida kids. I'm like, bro, how in the world did you do this? Yeah. And since then, like, when you want to come this summer, come in the summertime when kids are starting to take unofficial visits. You will be in this field house. You'll be like, you got who coming through the building today? Like, he committed where? Like, we got Georgia commits coming through the building. I'm talking, taking visits, like driving from their hometown to come here for an unofficial visit. And they're committed to a Power 5 SEC school. Like, literally, it's amazing. And the parents get here and they're like, Coach, which again speaks to the same thing. They're like, Coach, I tell you, I didn't expect this. Wow. Like, what I've heard, what I thought I was going to see, like, it's nothing like it. Like, Cardell Thomas transferred from LSU, and he was like, Coach, this is different than what I expected, what I experienced, you know. And you know, it's in the slight to anybody, but Cardell grew up in Baton Rouge and went to Southern Lab, and so he spent his whole life on Southern's campus, and it's not the facilities, it's not the resources. You know, we got a little nutrition station, we got, you know, some graphics on the walls and all those things, but just how we treat our guys. Like, at the end of the day, it's about the love and care that you have for these young men, because it's not a business transaction. Like, this is a personal relationship that we have with these guys, and when they come here, they feel that. So, but Devin, man, I'm telling you, like we could not do what we do, and because, bro, I'm just like you have time. Hell, I see the backseat, I'd be like, hey, man, who we got coming, dog? Like, hey, you got to slow them down sometimes. Like, Man, he like that pit bull. That you
right
boy,
away.
if you turn around and he get off that leash, it'll be like that video. It'll be like that video of that little white woman falling down trying to keep the dog. You're like, boy, hey man, we don't turn her loose. We'll have 10 commitments tomorrow.
Hey, Coach, and does that help for you when you talk about the age of the transfer portal? Yeah, this guy may be committed there. Yeah, that guy may be there.
Oh,
but they
yeah.
never forget what they experienced there. So when things don't work out where they at, they remember what felt like home, who gave them, who showed them a good time, who said this could be home for you. Does that work well for you, knowing you may not have that guy initially out of high school, but he can come back on the back end and be beneficial for you?
No question, because at the end of the day, it's not all about NIL money and cost of attendance. Like, yes, that's enticing up front, but once you get there, I mean, you start getting all this money, but you're still dealing with profiling. You're still dealing with, people not treating you like a young man and all this other stuff. Like, you're like, man, the hell with this money. Like, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be appreciated and cared about. And that's what we get the benefit of. So, yes, when these guys go out to these places and they're unhappy, and we're sitting there with open arms, like, hey, man, you know what you felt like when you came on that visit? Like, we can turn that bat signal on tomorrow at noon if you're ready for it, dog. Come on home. And we've been blessed, man. We've been really blessed to get some really, really, really good players here through the transfer portal. And, sometimes got to be careful to still recruit the high schools because there's so many guys. But that's another problem, bro. Like, there shouldn't be thousands of guys every year trying to transfer. Like, there's a whole lot of line going on if 1,000 kids are trying to leave. Like, there ain't that many kids that's being benched and transferring because they want to get closer to home or because they're not playing. Like, quarterbacks transfer because they're not playing.
Yeah.
Like, that's natural. But when you see 1,000 kids in the portal and only 400 of those guys sign scholarships again, like, that's a major problem that nobody's talking about with the transfer portal. And 90% of those kids look like the three of us on this call, that they're turning down full scholarships, jumping in the portal with bad information, and they're not coming up with homes. And so that's a whole nother show. You do a special segment on transfer portal, bring me back on, I'll get on my soapbox. But that's something that we need to talk about. Like, hey, kids, stop jumping in this transfer portal just because you face a little bit of adversity. You're gonna be sitting out here with a darn scholarship and your mom and dad got to come up with $15,000 a semester to pay for college. Like, that's bull.
Yeah, don't get me about this generation of how we're catering this instant gratification, this microwave society, this idea that they don't want to take the time to trust the process, to be able to work hard, to get to that position. They want to get there and you just say, here you go. Everybody gets the participation trophy. Nobody works hard to want to earn first place. You just want to get it because you was happen to be there with everybody else. I have a huge issue with the way that society is looking at that, especially with young people today, and how they're being coddled to feel and to think that way.
Well, that's not going to change. So all thing we can do is combat it by being honest and upfront with them. It's going to get worse. Like, that part's not going to get any better. But we got to do a much better job with our young men because it's disheartening to me. Every year I see the statistics on transfer portal. And now that the data's really starting to come out, the first few years they couldn't produce the data. Now the data's out. Like, when you guys get a chance, I'm telling you, do a segment on that. Look at the number of kids in the transfer portal every year compared to the number of kids who actually re-sign scholarships somewhere else. Like, less than 50% of the guys that enter the portal actually sign scholarships at other institutions. So that means over 50% of the guys are having to now pay for school some kind of way or not going to school at all. So it's a pipeline to the prison system, in my opinion. So we definitely got to do something about that or it's going to look bad for us in about 10 years.
No, I appreciate it, Coach Willie. We ain't gonna hold you up no longer. Listen, he's just trying to keep you on here so you don't win your game. You be tired, you ain't got to rejuvenate.
He said some stuff.
You don't need to try to distract me. Like, y'all still got to play Prairie View, so you can play your own destiny, dog. Like that. They got to do that. No, seriously. Like Southern doesn't need FAMU's help. Like, y'all still got. You control your own destiny. Y'all still got to play Alcorn. You still got to play Prairie View. You still got to play Grambling. All the teams that are right there with y'all, you still got to play. So you don't need to look at the score on Saturday to see if FAMU helping y'all. Go help yourself.
Don't let Scotty instigate this, Coach. I was right there with you, my brother, as we talking about helping these young brothers. Now, he'd have flipped you on me. You know what? I'm going to look at the score this weekend and see what's going on with Prairie View.
Oh, man. Hey, last thing, Coach, appreciate you. Love the shotgun FAMU. That was fire. That's some high class branding right there. I rocks with that. That was dope. That's dope. Hey, listen, Coach. I appreciate you for jumping on. You have a great night. Hope to see you with a W. So you can, I can be down there brag for the SWAC championship.
That's the finesse guy, man.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Hey,
have a great. I'll be later.
All right, peace. Hey, man, listen, that was a great segment. Appreciate Coach Willie Simmons for coming on. Shout out to FAMU. Shout out to all the FAMU grads. You already know what it is, man.
How you gonna give him the bullets to shoot at me, Scotty?
No,
you just was sitting there with Bethune-Cookman stuff on. Then you just like in that thing when, what was the dude, Southside and G Herbo jumped on Funny Marco? You cool when it was me, then you'd have flipped because your boy that got it, then you'd have switched up on me.
No, I just do a little, you know.
How you gave him the bullet and he shot it?
Listen, I just do it underhand and just see where he was gonna take it. If he was gonna bunt it or if he was gonna hit it out the park.
The finesse guy, he had a little pettiness to him. He took that quick and ran with it. So, you know, hey, he shot me.
Oh, man.
I love what he was talking about because I think he was about to hit to a point that I would love when we could do a segment to hear actually from an African-American Division I coach talking about, because he said something that to prison pipeline, because these guys are getting, you know, this idea that they can go somewhere and the grass is green on the other side. And it's for a lot of these guys, it's failure. It's not success. And they don't know how to shake back from that failure because they've been coddled. Everybody's told them how great they are from their local and regional areas. Then you find out in the grand scheme of things, you're really not as great as you thought you were. Then the reality of the world hits to what do I do next? And for a lot of them, because we know the backgrounds of African Americans and the communities that we come from, they get sucked back into that. Because like he talked about his own football team, we know where a lot of these cats come from, right? They gutter. They coming out, they coming straight out of there with it, right? And they don't have a problem going back, especially if you can be the man where you come back. And I like he was about to hit that. And I like that because we need to hear that perspective. No white man gonna get on TV and have a perspective about his African-American players and the ones that are not successful, the ones that slip and fall through the cracks, but to be able to hear a successful Black man in a position, the coach at an HBCU that's particularly just for us to be able to tell you the stories that these guys do slip through the cracks. And if we don't be able to help them, they will fall in that position to where they hit that prison pipeline. And I think that was just, for me, that is just a perspective that needs to be talked about that I think has never really been spoken of. And I think he was hitting that. And I love to hear that from him.
No, I agree with both of you guys. And I think that's a topic that, you know, as HBCUs, we're supposed to be that net in most cases. In some cases, you know what I'm saying? Because he could say that jumping in the church reporter from HBCU back, you know what I'm saying? And you trying to go do wherever you're doing. But at the same time, we already know the PWI institutions of Black kids jumping into the portal and HBCU being that net for these kids, being a safe space and a shelter for them to come in, be around your own, understand your own, and get a great education while doing it, and have a great experience playing the game that you love. And God darn it, I was supposed to ask him, could he get Marquise Bell to give me a jersey for the Dallas Cowboys? Jesus Christ.
And the other part to that, Scotty, we got to stop acting like we're better than HBCUs. Like, you going to an HBCU, you going to play football where? I think that's the other part that hurts when you talk about talent and guys that could actually come here and get opportunities to play on the big stage, to play in NFL stadiums, to play on national television, to play in front of large crowds, to be able to be coached up by guys like Willie Simmons and many others. And I feel him when he was talking about the going against each other. United will grow.
You're strong front.
Strong, divided will fall. But if we don't, because I hear that all the time, especially being an official in South Louisiana, I talk to a guy, hey man, where you going? Where you thinking about going? Then you break up an HBCU and they looking like, why would I go there?
Go there.
Why would I? But it's because he said that word of mouth. You know what? They didn't heard everybody say so much bad stuff. It didn't already turned them off. And man, I'm telling you, Coach Simmons was on to something. That's something to hear from a perspective of a coach, to really put it out there, to let people know, away from the chitter chatter of the outside world, but to really hear it from the mouth of a guy that has to go in that house and
have to convince those parents, have to convince that recruit to come to the said institution, to play at said institution, and stay at said institution when something doesn't go right or wrong. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You got to give kudos. And you know, when you look at the big, it's not just Willie at FAM. It's Hampton at UAPB. It's Wade at Valley. You know what I'm saying? It's McKinley at Texas Southern. You know what I'm saying? So the thing the thing that you have to do on the front end, and I'm gonna say this to keep it in the whole round perspective, you have to, the institutions itself has to do its due diligence of staying up to keep, like of staying in front of the chains, and keep being more innovative and staying ahead of the game as best you can. And then it's up to the students to know what they're going to get themselves involved in, understanding, hey, I'm not going to have this, but it's not going to limit my education. I'm not going to have this, not going to limit my experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of just moving parts and variables to that. So it's a lot that goes into that. But let's move on with the show. Listen, guys, stay tuned. We still got picks to get to. I don't know if we're taking call lines. You got anything to do tonight, Perry? What we doing?
I'm rocking and rolling, baby.
Let's rock and roll then. All right. Let's get into this HBCU top 5 real quick. Not much change for you, P.
For the first week of the season, I've kind of kept it what it was. We were playing musical chairs. 1 and 2 have not gone anywhere all season. But starting with number 5, I'm going to go with Southern from last week. And the reason, once again, 4-3 overall, 3-1. 4-1 in their last 5 games. Once again, for Perry White, what have you done for me lately? Southern 4-1 in his last 5 games. Have a chance, if they don't look past Texas Southern, they can be 5-1 in their last 6 games. That's heating up, putting themselves in a position to go with a big matchup against the number 14 next, Alcorn State, who got a big victory on the road at UAPB's homecoming. They're mimicked just like Southern. These two teams, to me, look the same when you talk about the momentum that they're gaining. 4-3, 3-1, both of them at the top of the SWAC West. Alcorn is well on 4-1 in their last 5 games. So them and Southern both hitting their stride at the right time. Tennessee State remains there. They got a victory over Lincoln this past weekend. 3-game winning streak for Tennessee State. They improved to 5-2, 1-1 in conference play. And of course, North Carolina Central and FAMU are the toast of HBCU football. Both of them 6-1. North Carolina Central get their first conference victory against Morgan State 1-0. And FAMU has advanced to be 5-0. That is my top 5 right there. Southern, Alcorn, Tennessee State, FAMU, North Carolina Central. If Alcorn and Southern find a way to get past this weekend, you're talking about a huge matchup next week in Lorman, Mississippi.
Ooh-wee. Man, that's gonna be a good one. All right, listen, I'm rocking with you. And Howard still looking good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You ain't want to believe in your boy, because I was rocking with Howard even through a loss.
It took them 5 weeks to get him one, but they got him one.
It's okay, though. I'm still rocking with Howard, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Jay Walker out here. Howard's still good with me. Number 5 coming in at Alcorn. Listen, the consistency of Aaron Allen. He's just playing at another level at the quarterback position. Got to give kudos. You have the run game from Alcorn coming up. Alcorn's defense is still, as they said, that crackhead D is still getting after the quarterback. That's what they call him. That's what G told me. That's what they call him. I'm just calling what he told me. Right? So they coming in at number 5. Number 4, Howard, man. Listen, people was like, Scotty, they lost, but the competition that Howard has played is the same thing Coach O said. They've been battle tested. They are ready for this conference play. They've been in those tough games. They played upper competition. They're ready. Got them at number 4. I think they can run the table until they see NCCU. Tennessee State coming at number 3. Listen, they hit a lot of polls. They're ranked in a lot of polls coming around that thing. So they're just rising up. In the stands, they come off the everybody and their mama been beating up on Lincoln and whoever else they've been playing. So shout out to that 54-0. And listen, number 1, number 2, you know Coach Willie, you know Coach Trey, they're building programs out there. They're doing their thing. Nothing's really going to change on that aspect. Now, I usually get a Cadillac pulling up, but today is a little different. Today's a little different. Right? I got a call in. Bishop, are you there? Bishop. Man, old people, man. Jesus Christ. God, dog. Now I got.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, Bishop.
All right. Had to get it together. First of all, before I get started, I got to thank my coach, because I texted my coach and asked him to come on, and he made it happen. And you boys did a great job. So, Coach Simmons, thank you for coming on and answering that text because the Rally Nation wanted to hear you. Now, with that being said, Perry, how are you doing, brother?
Good evening, Bishop.
Good.
This the Bishop, the Majestic.
Well, we've added another job, Perry. Scotty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
So, as many of you all know, the Bishop has many jobs. I'm a man of the cloth, detective of the off-script CISI unit. Perry, you even saw mine being a grief counselor with you. On Wednesday nights, I help Michael with credit repair and being a wing broker. But I'm going to tell you guys, it's something that you all did not know. You know, Scott and I have a couple of businesses in the background. You all did not know that. So I'm about to let you also know I'll pick up another job. I'm also a travel agent and a pilot. As you can see by my avatar. You see that? That's my new job right there. So Scotty and I have created a travel agency. Perry, did you know Scotty and I created a travel agency?
I'm just learning this as of today, right now.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
I know you did. You was a loan officer last week.
We have created the off-script transfer travel agency. Okay? Now, we all know it's homecoming season and a lot of folks are traveling. But our travel agency has a very specific service to a very discriminating clientele. Our travel agency caters to those folks who have, 6 or 7 games, those players who need to find a new home and travel to a more prosperous destination. Scotty, you know we got a motto. Did you know what our motto is?
What's our motto?
When you hit that portal site, off-script travel agent will find you a flight. Now, as a travel agent and as a pilot, see, Perry, I do it all. We had to find a certain group. When you're traveling, some people want to go on Hotwire and Priceline, to get their tickets and stuff. No. When you are a transfer, you come to the off-script travel agency. Now, you all know I've been talking about a certain first family of off-script, and I know you know. So the Body family is the first family of the off-script collective. So we got 3 first-class tickets with no bag fees. No bag fees.
Around the country.
We are better than Southwest. Now, here's the thing. We got a first-class ticket for Mama Body and all them body sweatshirts that she's trying to sell. She ain't got no bag fees for that. We got a first-class ticket for Papa Body. He wore all them nice Steve Harvey suits. He can pack all those up in mini bags. He got a ticket for that. And we got a first-class ticket for Andrew with all them hair products. Because, Andrew keep that thing cool with them hair products. So we know he got a whole bag of hair products. Now, here's the thing, Perry. When you take a first-class flight on the off-script travel agency, that flight is directly from Houston, directly to Tallahassee International Airport, where Jerry Musa and the Rattler will pick you up from Tallahassee Port. So right there. So we got a direct flight from Houston to Tallahassee already ready to go. Tickets already ready. So we are already there. So we just let them know, Mama Body, Andrew, Papa Body, there's your first class tickets. As you can see, and see got the graphic, you know what I'm saying? Got the number 1 body ready to go. Ready to go. But now, Perry, you have first class, but a person like yourself will probably fly business class. You're a businessman. So Scott and I actually have a business class section.
Free to move about the country.
Exactly. So for our business class section, we actually are going to go down there to Montgomery, Alabama, and go get Keyshawn Johnson and put him in business class for Alabama State. And see, we know Keyshawn, being the player he is, he needs extra leg room and provide a quarterback who actually can throw him the goddamn ball. So that's what you get in business class. Not only do you get leg room, you get a quarterback that can throw the ball. Now, here's the thing, though, Perry. In this business class flight out of Montgomery, could be a short flight because, we talking to him. He can either go to Tallahassee, he can go to Jackson. Hell, you know what? We even fly to Grambling, Louisiana. We don't have to go to Monroe, Lafayette. So, Keyshawn, we got your business class ticket. Just let us know when you're ready to go. We'll pick you up. Guaranteed. Now, Perry, we got some people that, they can't afford first class. and they cannot afford, business class. It's for the money folk. So we actually have a coaches section, the coach section, you know what I'm saying? Fly coach. But see, our coach section is actually for coaches. So see, we got a cheap airfare. Now, let me tell you something. Now, we usually only fly to SWAC schools. We even fly to Ida Bina, Perry. But I'm going to tell you something. They told me we had to add a new route to the off-script transfer travel agency. So we going to Colorado. We going up there to Colorado, Perry. And you know who we going to get this coach ticket to? We're going to get Coach Vince Dancy. Now, we all know that Coach Dancy don't like that cold weather. And you know Coach Dancy. Because I don't know if y'all know that. Coach Dancy is from Sugar Lock, Mississippi. You know, doggone well, they don't play with no snow bunnies up there in Sugar Lock. So we got to get Coach Dancy out of Colorado with those snow bunnies and take him down to Houston, Texas. And see, he can go down there to Houston in coach and find him an H-Town hottie. So see, we trying to save his life because his mama, Sugar Lock is only 300 people. So his mama had told him about that white woman up there in Colorado every day. He don't want to hear that no more. So we are going to fly him from Colorado to Houston. First, business coach. So he ain't got to worry about that. So Coach Dancy, we got your ticket ready to go because we know you're a defensive analyst. You don't want to be no analyst no more. You want to be a head coach. Come on. You want to be a head coach. You got your money. Now come on down to Houston and coach that team.
You are now free to move about the country.
Now, here is the thing. Now, we do have people that want to wait the last minute, Perry. And we try to accommodate those people. Those are people that actually fly standby. You know what I'm saying? They want to try to wait and get on the plane. They don't have enough money to fly first class, don't have enough money to fly business. So they try to get stay. You mean a buddy pass. So you know who those people we got the standby list for? We got the standby list for one team and one team only. That's North Carolina Central. Because them white folks ain't want your ass up there when y'all first went up there. So you need to fly back down to somewhere in the MEAC, the SWAC, or somewhere. Because y'all don't need to be up there. So we're going to let y'all fly standby. Now, the Golden Delights, we'll let them come first class. But North Carolina A&T, you guys got to fly standby. Because with that one, let me see, hold on. Because I wanted to make sure that I had this right. With that 1 and 6 record that y'all have, y'all got to be standing by for something. I'm telling you, because that is ridiculous. So the thing about it is, Perry, we cater to everybody. We cater to the people like A&T that don't really have money for first class. We cater to people like the Body family who need to, leave Houston on first class. Keyshawn Johnson, business class. So we're very excited about this travel agency that we got. I think this is going to be really good. So, each week we might have a player that calls us that needs to get a ticket to fly out of his place. So I just want to let everybody know that. So Scotty and I, once again, and yes, the whole team is on standby. The whole team. But I don't know, that quarterback, they might just leave him there. Because what, he threw one pass? They might not even let that boy get. I don't think he can get through TSA. Because he clearly is a dangerous weapon for the other team. So I don't even know about that. But I am super excited about our travel agency. You will see more players that will hit this transfer portal and call our travel agency. Get to the right fit. Like we heard Coach Sim. Didn't Coach Sim talk about the fit, Scotty?
Yeah.
He talked about fit. What better fit and what better way to travel than the off-script travel agency with the bishop? Because see, this ain't no soul plane over here now. We gonna land on time and we gonna take off on time. Now we will have a body of Hennessy for you. We will have that. So we will have some Hennessy for you, but we will travel on time. So I'm just letting you all know, if you all need tickets to any of your homecomings, do not hesitate to call the number at top, and we will gladly get you where you need to. So now, Scott, remember what our motto is. When you hit that portal site, the off-script travel agency can find you a flight.
Thank you, Bishop Pilot. Thank you, Richard.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Hey, man.
That sounds like PPP money spent. What y'all doing? Y'all put in a lot of business. I know what y'all trying to see. Y'all got that PPP money. Now you trying to act like you got businesses to back it up.
You gotta get a payroll. You gotta put people on payroll.
Now y'all act like y'all got a loan business. Y'all a travel agency. You a sports agent. Damn, you got a production company, boy. Y'all trying for them folks won't get y'all for that PPP check, huh?
Hey, listen, you gotta spend it. You gotta show where it's going.
And y'all in Atlanta, y'all might be scamming, bro. Y'all some y'all out there in Atlanta scamming. You and Mr. Kevin, boy, I can't put nothing past y'all, boy.
Oh man, that's scary. Boy, not scary.
Y'all scamming.
Hey man, we just trying to get the people what they need, man. Just trying to get people what they need, man. All right, let's get to these picks and predictions. Boy. Yeah, hey man, listen, got time. We got time. Picks and predictions week 9. Listen, me and Perry, I was 7-1. Perry was 7-1. I'm trying to close the gap. Here we go.
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, yeah. I could have went undefeated though. Anyway, Alcorn Valley.
Hold on. Go put your Bethune back on. Go on, put it back on.
Yeah.
Don't get back right. Look at him putting it on. He proud too. Look at him. Can't look at him. He proud to put that maroon. Look at it. Ooh, woo.
All right. Listen, you gotta show love to everybody, man. You gotta show love to everybody out here, man. All right. I mean, do we really have a discussion on this one? I just think, Alcorn Valley is listen, the way Alcorn playing. I don't think anybody want to see them right now.
You know, you see the A, you turn it upside down. You got the V, and you got Alcorn. So I'm gonna roll with Alcorn. What? You ain't notice that?
Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it. Anyway, next. Try to make that game way more interesting than it need to be.
You know, Itabena is different now.
Anyway, Howard, Delaware State. Listen, I'm gonna listen. Lee Hall is not a good coach. I'm sorry. I'm not asking him to be fired, Coach Willie. I'm just saying he ain't good. That's all I'm gonna say.
But I'm gonna say this: he don't look like he to be messed with though. Like, look at him though, bro. He look like he used to bully folks.
He probably boxed back in the day.
Can you see that? Because like I can't unsee it now. Whatever that picture is you got it from, I just can't unsee it now. Maybe
I can't unsee him winning. How about that? I can unsee him winning.
I'm gonna roll with the Howard Bison, as they say, the Bison. Yeah. Howard right now, I think they're in a position to what you were saying now to be able to show who they are, being able to have that type of competition to play against. And I think now you saw them get past Norfolk, came down to the wire, but against Delaware State, I think this will probably be the game we see them flex the most that we've seen all year. This will be a chance to truly see Howard football, and I think Delaware State will be the opponent that they're showing against.
Absolutely. Listen, that matchup for NCCU is coming down the pipeline. It is coming down the pipeline, and that is going to be a huge game. Don't be surprised if I'm in the building. Don't be surprised if your boy in the building at Howard. All right, coming up, Jackson State, UAPB. Does UAPB finally get a win in the conference, Perry?
No. And what you say, you come down here fucking with these folks? No, I don't want none of that. No, JSU, man, I'm gonna rock with Jackson all the way. I mean, Jackson has had some up and downs considering what we saw on the road at Itabena against Mississippi Valley. I mean, UAPB is they're just getting beat all kind of ways. And I think right now, if you look at, you can run the ball against UAPB. And I think if you look at film, and if Jackson State, I'll look at the film, I say, let's just get out of there and just go with the strengths. Let's run the ball. I think Alonzo Hampton does a great job in hyping up. Did you see the hype video they had coming into the game against
Man, that game was legit, bro. I loved it.
It was a hell of a hype video.
It was.
And I wished it could have, put into something where it would have helped them win, but a 31-7 loss to Alcorn. And that's a pretty big football that man got. And I don't know where the hell he get that super aired up football from, but it ain't going to help. I'm going JSU in this one. I wish the Golden Lions could get this done, but I think there's not going to be any the vibe is going to be completely not there. This game is just going to be Jackson State going to have to bring their own energy because Pine Bluff is a tough place to go.
Listen,
there's no energy.
I'm going to say the same thing on my show on Wednesday with Mike. I'm picking JSU, hoping for them to lose. It's just that simple. I'm okay. I'm okay with getting this pick wrong. Absolutely
no, you're
okay.
doing it because you need to keep up with me. So you just won't flat out say UAPB, but you need to keep up with me. So you're doing smart.
I would do the same. Listen, my motto is simply this: I would rather be right than to be wrong. So the logical pick is Jackson State. What I will hope to happen is that they lose. I just enjoy Jackson State losing way more than I enjoy picking them. So it's just very simple. So Hampton, I will be rooting for you, but I'm going to be picking against you. It's just that simple. So Jackson for the win, but I'm rooting for Hampton.
You know, when you sit in class, you're like, what the hell he just say? What the hell? I get it. You to confuse the class. Now I got it. Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
That's just how I feel. I'm just keeping that buck. Tennessee State versus Lindenwood.
Whoa.
Listen, this is an ugly one. Lindenwood has beat Tennessee Tech. They've beat Western Illinois.
Kennesaw State.
I don't think they play Kennesaw State. Did they play Kennesaw?
I think they played Kennesaw State. They got it. This one, I don't know. I mean, this might be one of those, they call it the trap game for Tennessee
Absolutely.
State.
Absolutely. You can definitely get caught slipping. In this game. And listen, let's be honest. Tennessee State offensively is not a juggernaut, right? They're a run-first team with Jalen Rouse. Draylon Ellis plays off of that. But that Tennessee State front four is really, including the linebackers with Monroe Beard, like that's where they make their money. So if anything has to show up, that Tennessee State's defense cannot not show up in this game. So I'm going with Tennessee State, but like you said, don't be surprised for a trap game if this game is closer than you expect it to be.
I'm going to go with Tennessee State, and the reason, they fans are already not showing up, and I believe ain't nobody going to show up for Lindenwood. So this is a perfect environment for them, for Tennessee State, I think, to try to keep their head in the game without the distractions. But this is one that they need to continue. They'll improve to 6-2, 2-1 if they can get it. But it's something about a Lindenwood that we just don't know. But I've looked at their schedule. They legit can beat Tennessee State.
Absolutely.
Like legit, they can beat them. So, but let's go Tennessee State. Eddie, you doing everything in order to change our perception of Tennessee State football this year. And why not? Why jump off the bandwagon now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's go. The battle of the cousins. The best of the worst. Listen, this is going to be, and what's tough about this, listen, I'll tell you straight up. If Christopher Zealous and Elijah Burris were playing this game, it would be eyes closed as Hampton all day, every day. I do not know who's going to show up in this game. So it's literally a toss-up between A&T and who they decide to start at quarterback, and Hampton of who they decide to start at quarterback. But just based off everything, the measurables, you just got to go with Hampton. You just got to go with Hampton on this one, simply because they're just a more talented team. I think NCAT might have some success defensively, but offensively, they are inept, beyond inept. I mean, I've never seen a team be this bad. This bad? I can't explain it, but I'm going with Hampton on this one.
This one you look at in the CAA, this the weekend everybody go out of town because they say the black folks coming in town this weekend. They're going to all be congregated in one area. They finally playing each other in the conference, right? But I'm going to go with this one. Both teams didn't pass over 100 yards in their last outing. A&T losing to, was it Richmond? And Hampton losing to Delaware. Both struggled in the passing game. So I think in this game, for me, you'll look to see a heavy dose of running from both sides. And for me, I think Hampton can run the ball better. I'm going to go with Hampton.
Yeah, and I mean, think about this, Perry. They went with Elijah Burris. He killing it. They went to his backup. He was killing it. Now they down to Tamir Robinson, and he killing it. So they got him in spades. They just got to put it together. Just absolutely got to put it together. I'm going with Hampton as well. Next up, Grambling. Little Bill. Listen, I'm going to say this. If there's a game that Bethune could actually win, it's this one. And it's simply because of how bad Grambling's defense is. But let me explain this to you. I want to be very clear, because if it goes the wrong way, I want you to know why it went the wrong way. If Bethune-Cookman plays Walter Simmons III and not Luke, I think they can win this game because of the mobility of the quarterback. That has always been a hindrance for Grambling. The mobility of the quarterback has always killed them. In the Hampton game, in A&M's game. That is the thing. Grambling has got to put it all together. And just like Coach O said, you're given the same amount of time to do the same thing the other team is. So I don't want to see a situation where Bethune outscores you 35 and you get 24 when you give them the same opportunities like at A&M did you. So I'm going with Grambling on this one. But I'm telling you right now, Cedric Thornton, bet not F me on this one. I'm telling you that right now. You bet not F me, because if you're talking about somebody asking to get fired, I'm asking Cedric Thornton. I'm a be on that soapbox by my damn self, out in the street like the dude telling you Jesus Christ is coming. All right, I'm gonna be just like that out in the street telling that Cedric Thornton need to be fired. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Bethune has been right there knocking on the door with everybody, man. I mean, literally. Just not being able to get over the hump. But I think as you see this team mature, maybe into next year, you'll see them put up a little bit better fight. But I'm going to go with Grambling. Grambling kind of in the skid right now, lost to A&M, lost to Alcorn. I think this is a game for them to get a bounce-back win. And I think this is an opportunity for Miles Crowley to reassert himself once again as one of the better quarterbacks in the conference. But like you said, that question mark with Grambling's defense. But I think offensively, I think Grambling will be able to showcase why you have to score points to beat them. And this will be one of those games I think you'll see Grambling in the point total be significantly higher than what Bethune-Cookman can keep up with.
I'm telling you, Cedric Thornton, don't F me on this one, bro. I swear to God. I say you talking about a rage you don't want to see. There's no reason why you should lose to Bethune-Cookman. None whatsoever. And Hugh Jackson offensively, it needs to be a 30-point or more scoring. It's no reason why you should be under 30 points against Bethune-Cookman. No reason at all. Now, I would tell you this: don't try Omari Hill Robinson too often. You need to tell your boy, my guy Miles Crawley, can't be trying Omari Hill Robinson all willy-nilly. All right, don't try him too often, but you know they better come to play. They better come to play. Texas Southern versus Southern. Now, if Andrew was playing this game, it would be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. He going for 3-0. He going 3-0, but Andrew is not playing. But go ahead, Perry. This is on you. You take it away, my guy, in the Columbia Blue.
You know, well, Clarence McKinney and Texas Southern has won the last two against Southern. You're talking about 24-0 in the last outing up in Dallas. But now this game will no longer be in Dallas. They played in Dallas for the umpteenth amount of years. Now they're back home, and Texas Southern having to come to Baton Rouge. Southern right now 4-1 in their last 5 games. This is a game when I talked to Coach Eric Dooley earlier today. How do you get your team prepared to not overlook a team like Texas Southern? But he said, nonetheless, they got that taste in their mouth for understanding what happened last year. You talked about Ladarius Owens, and it is the Ladarius Owens show. Southern's job in terms of their defense is going to have to be able to contain him, but then don't allow Jace in order to get out and beat you with his arm because you're overlooking what he's capable of doing from the quarterback position. We saw what Texas Southern was able to do to jump out on FAMU early in that game, 14-0. Southern cannot put themselves in a position to have to play from behind, especially if Texas Southern can find a good day at running the ball like they've done. That's time of possession, and that's playing keep away. And Southern does not want to be in that position, especially as many penalties that they give up and as many third downs that they don't convert. But in this one, I'm going to go with Southern. I think Coach Eric Dooley at home in Baton Rouge can get it done over Clarence McKinney.
Oh, goddamn. Man, this is what right here. Everything. Listen, I the same way I felt about Texas Southern against Bethune is the same thing I feel about Texas Southern against Southern. They're talented enough to beat this team, even without Andrew Body. The issue with Texas Southern is with that 3-down lineman front. Can you stop the run. And we saw late in that FAMU game how they were able to run down their throats and put the game away simply by, like Coach Simmons said, 3rd and 8, I'm running the ball. Who does that? You get what I'm saying? So I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Texas Southern with the win here. I'm picking Texas Southern for the win here. I think Quay Davis, AJ Bennett, if Jace Wilson can get his arm together, I think they can make plays. And once again, I think Ladarius Owens can do enough to keep this team in the game. I saw, once again, even when seeing Southern play Bethune, nothing about this team is scary. Nothing about Southern is just like, oh, you have to watch out for. Because I think the running backs are the only thing you got to really keep under control. But Harold Blood he's not too scary. You know what I'm saying? The receivers, I think they don't get used in the right way. So they come off as, not being too scary. So I got Texas Southern winning the close one. I got it. I want to give a score for this game. I say 20. I don't even know how they're going to get to the score. I'll say 30. Nah, I don't think it's going to get that high. I'll say 27-21. 27-21 Texas Southern. 27-21 Texas Southern. Or 27-24, something like that. That's what I'm going to go with Texas Southern. But I think they can pull it out. I think they're talented enough to pull it out. And you know me, I like to see chaos. And if y'all lose to Texas Southern, the rest of y'all season is literally just kaput. Because y'all not going to beat Alcorn, Prairie View, and Grambling. That ain't happening. So, but if you do beat, it sets up a hell of a run that you could possibly be going.
I mean, we lost to Texas Southern last year, and we beat Alcorn, Prairie View, and Grambling.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I don't want to talk about losing Texas Southern. We better not lose no damn Texas Southern in Baton Rouge. In front of the home crowd.
Without Andrew too. Oh, that's just even worse. Without Andrew, I mean, y'all was going to lose if Andrew was playing, but without Andrew, God, I wouldn't. That's bad. That's bad. All right, NCCU, South Carolina State. This game, if you do not know the history, Buddy Pugh is undefeated. NCCU has never beat. Trey Oliver has never beat Buddy Pugh. Never, ever. Even with Davis Richards last year. This game is in the nest.
This feels like trap game central.
It does, but it's at the nest. That's the only thing that's, to me, is saving NCCU is that it's at its home field, but it's in the nest. I'm going to go with NCCU, but I think they only pull it out by 10. I don't see this being a blowout. You know what I'm saying? But Trey Oliver has never beaten South Carolina State. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I think when you look at South Carolina State, we talked about last week against Delaware State. You look at what Corey Fields Jr., he's been up and down, but he's been a lot better than what we saw week 1 through 3, right? On the back end, he's starting to be at least productive right now. Then you start talking about their playmakers, Tyler Smith, if he can get going on the ground. Jawan Howell, if he can get going on the ground, and then if Corey Fields can connect with Justin Smith-Brown, they have some playmakers that can be a problem for North Carolina Central, but they have to limit themselves in turnovers. They had 2 turnovers last week against Delaware State. They're going to have to limit those turnovers. As a matter of fact, stay away from the turnovers if you think you're going to beat North Carolina Central, because that's what hurt Morgan last week in their opportunity to perhaps beat North Carolina Central. But I think North Carolina Central gets this done. You got to roll with who's been the number 1 team, but this feels trap game-ish. And at the same time, it's Buddy Pugh's last tour. It's his last hoorah throughout the conference. And you just can't see him right now, going in here. This means something to him. This is going to mean something to this team. I feel like they're going to come out with some type of energy with this game.
This is what it's going to come down to for me. What Corey Fields you see. If you get a 2 interception, 1 touchdown Corey Fields, it's going to be a long day for South Carolina State. If you get a 1 to 2 touchdown Corey Fields and no turnovers, this is going to be a tight game. Can South Carolina State's front 4 apply pressure to NCCU, and can they stop? Because at the end of the day, I don't care what y'all see with Davis Richards. If you can't stop the run game for NCCU, you don't have a chance of winning this game. If you can't stop Latrell Collier and Davis Richards running the ball, you can't win this game. They're just going to lean on you, and it's just going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. It's going to keep coming. So I'm excited to see what this looks like, and I'm excited to see what South Carolina State brings to this game and how they respond to this game. But I got NCCU, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be about 10 points. I think it's going to be 10 points. But that's all I got for it. That's all I got for it. All right. Here we go.
I said, behold.
Behold. What you got, B? Should be very simple.
You know, it feel like Coach Otis was on here yesterday. It don't even feel like it was tonight.
Right.
We've been rocking and rolling for so long. That felt like that was a whole other episode.
Boy, for real.
But when you look at these two programs, you talking about two programs that have been knocking on the door of success all season. And I think this is actually one of the best matchups because both teams have potential. Both teams have head coaches that can lead these programs to success. And, you know, for me, if you're going to be my dark horse, this is the type of game you're going to have to pull out with a victory. Norfolk State fell short to Howard in the closing seconds last week, and we saw Morgan State fall short to North Carolina Central on the road. Both teams are on the road. This is a game right here I think going to give you everything you want. And I'm going to go with Norfolk State in this one. My man Dawson Odums, he talked about it. You had a chance to hear about his philosophy. You had to hear about his team and what it means for them to be knocking on the door. But the same could be said for Coach over at Morgan State, Coach Damien, that his team is basically in the same position. They just need to taste victory, and then they'll possibly be able to find it continuously. But I'm going to go Norfolk State, Scotty.
Listen, if anybody, listen, let me blow myself up. If anybody ever thought I was going against Maryland, you out your cotton picking mind. It's DMV all day over here. Ain't no Norfolk nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no Norfolk nothing. We over here. I'm rocking with Morgan State. Technically, they're in Baltimore. It's not technically the DMV, but it's Maryland. I think Morgan State's defense is better than Norfolk State's offense. The way they shut down NCCU, they're going to shut down Norfolk State. The issue comes, can they put up points? Can they? Will they? And they might need a defensive score to push this game ahead. I got Morgan State winning this game. It's an ugly game, 17-14 Morgan State.
And I think Norfolk played a hell of a game against your big bad Howard Bison. I thought that they did well against that team. You saw a real football game, and if Norfolk don't give up a touchdown late in that game, I mean, and some questionable plays, calls, and you know, it could have went either way. And I just like the way Norfolk competed against that team like a Howard that is giving teams fits.
No, sir. Norfolk is not the DMV. It is a 2-hour drive to get. It's in the middle of Virginia. No, sir. Excuse me. So please, not yet. Norfolk is definitely not DMV area. All right. Anyway, here we go. Games of the week. Week.
You used to have a sound to go with this.
Yeah, they're all filled up.
Hello, they know.
You just play anything now.
What you know what I'm saying? This is not just drop anything now. Magic City Classic is in the building, right? Defense versus offense. It could be the coach's fireball. It could be that. It could be that. This is a good one. I think they're both coming off wins. They're both coming off as homecoming spoilers. This probably hasn't been as interesting in a long time, but this game is going to come down to who wants it more and who's more prepared. And what quarterback plays better. Perry, what you got?
Alabama State is a team that went on the road to beat Jackson State in a tough and hostile environment for them at homecoming, and they got it done. The same for A&M, who had not had much success at Grambling or playing Grambling in the past, but they finally was able to get over the hump. Connell Maynard, Eddie Robinson Jr., both coaches finding some way to get it done. I'm going to go with Alabama A&M in this one. And I know that's going to be kind of different. I know Bama State has the defense, right? And that's one thing why I'm having a hard time going against that defense, But it's something about Xavier Langford and what he's capable of doing. And I think if he can be that guy with his legs, I think he can help A&M get over the hump in this game. I want to roll with Bama State simply because I know Bama State's defense can stand stout with the best of them. But something telling me Connell Manning is going to find a way to get this one done.
I'm not that big a fan of Connell Manning, but I'll tell you,
Baby, who is SWAC? Who is SWAC?
listen, you know I'm not an Eddie Robb fan, but defensively, these dudes are that. And let me say this. Xavier Langford cannot throw the ball effectively. If I'm Alabama State, if Eddie Robb has any sense of the imagination, I load the box and I make Xavier Langford beat me. If Xavier Langford throws for 300 yards and they win this game, you go to the middle of the field and you shake that boy's hand. You say, "God damn, son, great, great game." But there is no way I'm letting Xavier Langford's legs beat me in this game. And I think, if I'm being honest, Jackson State is a more talented team that they shut down. So I don't understand how A&M wins this game other than Xavier Langford playing out of his mind or Alabama State's offense continues to be inept.
It's a rivalry game, Scotty.
It is.
You know, at the end of the day, when you talk about rivalries and you talk about teams that don't like each other, we can throw the stats out there and what the guys did. But when you talk about it'll be a guy you never even heard of, but because of this game and the hype, he may step up and be a difference maker. So, you know, it's tough when you talk about rivalries and you throw everything out, especially because I'm not entrenched in this rivalry, but I've noticed it over the years. So, you know, that's kind of why I'm going to push A&M way, even though I like Bama State's defense, but Bama State offensively has continued to struggle and struggle and struggle. But I don't know, they just luck up and get it going. The eye for Bama State is going to be, with this being a big game in a rivalry, I want to see what Keyshawn Johnson, if they can feed him the ball and will they make him a focal point? Can he be the showcase to show everybody this dude is a superstar in this league? And this is the platform, I think, if you Eddie Robinson, you have to put him out there for people to see what kind of guy this is.
And he won the one last year. He single-handedly won the one last year, right? So to me, if I'm breaking this thing down mentally, A&M's wide receivers are not better than Alabama State's DBs. Running back is not better. Devon Elin and them are not better than Alabama State's defensive team, right? I think that's all a wash. I think Alabama State has that beat. Keyshawn Johnson is better than every DB that A&M has. But can the quarterback and the OC figure out a way to make him more effective? It seems as though Keyshawn Johnson has gone by the wayside ever since the FAMU game. It's like they threw him the ball every other play, and then now they can't find a way to give him the ball. He does a 46-yard bomb in Jackson State. He don't touch the ball again. So, to me, it takes Alabama State figuring out a way. First of all, sticking with a quarterback and riding with that quarterback and getting Keyshawn the ball in every possible way. So I got Alabama State winning this one. I think it's a close one. I don't think it should be close, if I'm being honest. I think Alabama State should be a 2-touchdown favorite, at least 10 points. But I got Alabama State by 10. I think they're just a better team. Unless they turn the ball over, Alabama State's the better team. And I think if Eddie Robb loses this game, he cannot coach. Because if you lose to a guy who cannot, I want you to think about this, Perry. Xavier Langford was 9 of 22 and still beat Grambling. He was 9 of 22. And I'm talking about balls skipping the dirt, like not even close. So I don't know how you lose to a guy who can barely throw the ball. And if they do lose this game, I'm telling you, I would be looking at Eddie Robb pretty sideways. I ain't gonna lie to you. And somebody asked me, is the loser on the hot seat? If Maynard loses this game, I bet he's fired. Not after the game. But he's not coming back after this season if he loses this game. Period. This is my point. This is my personal opinion. You know.
So you going Bama State? I'm going A&M.
Yep. This is one of the ones I gotta get back. One of my games.
True, Magic City. We both going opposite.
True class of the Titans, right? Here we go. Oh, my bad. Here we go. This is my real game of the week. All right, this is the game I've been waiting for. I think this game has everything you're asking for. Top level competition, top quarterback play, and a lot of stuff is on the line. You know what I'm saying? Is FAMU going to run the table? Prairie View got to stay in the top of the SWAC West race. I'm loving this matchup. I think it has Grambling written all over it when they came to Tallahassee last time with Thick 36 came out and distracted Grambling, got their butt whooped. Listen, FAMU is better than this team in every possible way. There is not an aspect of Prairie View that is better than FAMU. But once again, are they going to play down to their competition? Are they going to put a whole game together? It is yet to be seen. But FAMU has everything going for them. I think FAMU should win this game easily, but nothing ever comes easy for FAMU. So I got it 28-17 FAMU.
You know, PV was off this past weekend, so you better believe they was somewhere in Texas Southern sitting back in the cut probably scouting this game.
Easily.
At FAMU, trying to figure out what is FAMU doing, being right there in that backyard. Homecoming, Bragg Memorial Stadium. FAMU, I think, has one of the longest, if not the longest, home winning streak right now in the country. It is absolutely tough to go into Tallahassee, Bragg Memorial Stadium, and say you're going to walk out of there with a W. And for me, FAMU is better than Houston Christian. For me, when I look at FAMU, they can beat you a multitude different ways. Special teams, let's not forget. This team is great on special teams, too. And they can get you if you least expect it by beating you with all three facets of the game. I just think Prairie View, although they are a good team, but Prairie View now is on the back end. They haven't looked so well over the past few weeks. They have not. And they seem to, but they're still in a position. They're right there at the top with Alcorn and Southern. But I just think now you start to see them teeter the back way. And this is just not a good matchup for me in a hostile environment, homecoming, Bragg Memorial Stadium, and Tallahassee against that guy we just got through talking to. And that's the finesse guy. He don't lose no games in October and November. So I'm not going against the finesse guy. I'm going FAMU.
You know, the thing to me that I think FAMU really needs to be worried about, and the crazy thing is how Ladarius Owens got going was very shocking to me because FAMU has had a pretty stout run defense. Those backs at PV are no slouches. Ahmed, Caleb Johnson, those guys are not slouches. And you can't let them get going. Those are the type of backs that get better with more carries. You gotta shut that down early and put all the pressure on Trayvon Connolly making throws and having to consistently make plays. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing about Trayvon. He's good for at least one. He's good to throw you at least one. He might go 3 touchdowns, but he probably gonna have a pick behind it. So you gotta take advantage of the mishaps that he's going to give you. And let me see, defensively, listen, all they do is run cover 3 and quarters. They don't do nothing special. Willie Simmons sees that every other week. It's not nothing exotic. They don't blitz. They don't do nothing. So I wouldn't be so you just need Musa to play within himself. Don't get too ahead of himself and just take what the defense gives you because they're going to give it to you. They're going to give you the easy throws. Like he said, the 5-yard hitches. They're going to give you that. You know what I'm saying? So it should be an easy game.
You know the difference in this one?
What's up?
FAMU's student section and fans with this being homecoming going to be on straight bullshit behind that bench where Prairie View is. There's going to be so much. They're going to be right there on top of them where it's going to be so hard to focus. It's going to be easily distracted. And you know that FAMU band, they just play even when the refs say the bands refrain from playing, they just keep on playing. They got them songs they loop the whole quarter nonstop. You know, and I just think that's a tough place to play. It's going to be the toughest environment. I know PV played at Texas Southern, but that environment is nothing like going to Bragg Memorial. For anybody watching, if you've never been to Bragg Memorial for a big game, You just simply don't understand what I'm saying. It is the toughest place for me in the conference. And when you see how close those fans are, hell, they come out the stands, they on the sideline with you talking
Yeah.
to you. They
Yeah.
literally will touch you, right? And security says nothing, right? They're on you, sitting on the they're there. It is easily distracted. And if you're not focused, you will lose track of the game and be distracted by everything you got going on behind you because they're on top of you. And you better believe they're going to be on bullshit this weekend. So that's the main thing. Prairie just has to stay focused. Because if not, I think you'll just lose this game by just simply not being focused.
Shout out to Miss Sykes. Shout out to Kofi. I know Kofi will be in the back. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's a dude that they be showing on Twitter. On Twitter, he has like the little Rattler helmet, and he got the little cowbell. He be like, Rattler! that chick is so funny. I love that dude. He be like this. He put his helmet on. He looked at the camera. Rattler!
You're supposed to laugh at folks like that, man.
I love it. That, to me, that is football at its finest, and that's what you go and being. And then, you know, listen, when them fangs get, let's go, yo, that Jake is real, bro. That Jake is real. I love it. Like, you gotta respect it. And listen, they gonna be out in full effect. They're going to be out in full effect. If there's one thing people in Florida love, they love some football, boy. They love some football. All right, Perry, what you got going this week? I ain't taking no calls. We've been on this joker for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I got a lot to do in the morning. So what you got?
Man, nothing much, man. Getting ready for this weekend against Texas Southern, man. But other than that, this week I'm chilling, man. I wrapped up a show with Coach Eric Dooley. I did the coaches show today as a special guest. And then I did a show earlier with a legendary coach, Hall of Famer, Roger Kadar. So, you know, I'll just be rolling this week, still doing my thing with On the Yard Sports and then doing my thing with the Jaguar Journal. So, you know, getting ready for this weekend. It's football, so all I'm watching is football, keeping up, and then I'll be watching Off Script this Wednesday. You know, that Mike Reed show is slowly starting to lose it, ain't it? That momentum ain't there no more, you know. I'm hoping for its success. But it's losing momentum.
Listen, as it loses momentum for Mike, it just picks up for me. I'll be on the I can't wait for it. I'll be out there what's that? Like on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's like, we are the peacock. You know what he get?
Oh, the mighty peacocks, yeah. Carter was the mascot.
Boy, that's how. Listen, when Wednesdays come and Mike they lose or they have a bad showing, I'll be like, "Yeah, the peacock." Give me that thing.
You know what hurting him is to find out that you've been looking in the mirror. You know that chick that thinks she bad, but then you find out you really just average, and it's killing them to know that they average. Like, and it's nothing wrong with it. Like. It's nothing wrong with being average. I know in this day and age, because of social media and all the filters and the makeup and everything that's out there and the eyelashes and everything and the weave, you get to look in the mirror, you really think that's your real hair. You get to look and you think that's your real skin complexion. You get to looking, you think those your real eyelashes. But when you get out that shower and you take that off and take all of, you find out that you really just average. And it's okay because God made you who you are and be happy for you. All right. It is okay.
Peacocks. We're marching. Peacocks. And we refuse. I'll be coming at Jake lit, boy. It's nothing like seeing. And listen, it's what's even better is I jump on that mass meet and I just be listening. I don't even listen to y'all. I don't comment.
You be in the cut. You be in that back corner.
Because I don't want to get blocked. Because Ken's super emotional. You put a laughing emoji against it. You getting blocked or whatever. So I'll be in that Jake just sit in the cut. I'll be listening. Boy, they be making more excuses than DJ Envy trying to get out of jail, bro. I be like, whoa, what are we doing? Not the we still this. Like, you know how when the Cowboys lose, they be like, y'all still them boys? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about Jackson. Y'all still that team?
And it's like, it's okay. I know you hyped yourself up. It's okay to say, you know what? We back to where we just where we at. Like, yeah. And I'm okay with that. Except that's fine, man. You will never get that energy that you lost. You will never get that back. Oh, that sound about right. Don't that sound about right? That's all he does. I went on there and told him that. I said, bro, you can't be over talking your co-host, man. The guy got a good point. He say 3 words. Hey, Ken, you know, the defense, the line, and it's like you didn't let the man finish.
Listen, the funny thing about if y'all let me tell y'all. If y'all go watch that show, this is what happens, right? I've watched enough mass meetings to know this. Ken says something that is like in the delusion area, right? So he'll be like, yeah, you know, we need to just start playing all the freshmen. And Zoe, who has a good head on his shoulders, he'll come in. He won't say directly to Ken, that's stupid. What he'll say is this. He'll be like, hey, we need to pump our brakes, right? Let's really break this thing down. And he'll go through the whole process of why we don't need to play all our freshmen. And then Ken at the end will be like, yeah, you right, Zoe. Yeah, you know, like Zoe was saying, I'm like, bro, what opinion do you really have other than co-signing off of Zoe? That's all he do. He just play with the crowd. Like, do you hear? And then if somebody says it's wrong, then he goes over here. And Zoe always listen. Zoe's going to tell you his point of view, good, bad, or indifferent. And you got to respect it. But again, you don't know where he stands because he'll be like, oh, you know, we need to do this and we need to do that. And then Zoe corrects him. He's like, yeah, you're right, Zoe. Yeah, you know, that's what we need. I'm like,
what's
bro.
The other guy named? That's the guy he does not let talk.
I think his name is TD. Is that his name, TD?
Oh, bro. TD can say TD, and before he can say TD, he'll be like, no, TD. TD, no. Like he will not let that dude talk, man. And TD real life be having some good points if you let him get it out.
Listen, when them Bamas be losing, bro, it's not you talking about a good time. Talking about a good time, it's nothing better. I be watching them I just love hearing the excuses. I'm like, because what I'm gonna do before the season's over, I'm going to clip every episode of them before this. Oh, I got the time. I'm gonna
got time today.
Oh, I got time, bro. You talking about? So I love being. It's nothing better. I love doing it. I love being petty. I'm gonna clip all the stuff they say in the beginning of the season, and I'm gonna make it a whole reel, and I'm gonna just let it. I'm gonna just put it on my channel. And I'm gonna let it play.
You know they say you the president of the coalition, so
that's fine with me. At least I'm in charge of something. I'd rather be the president than a follower. I just, you know what I'm saying? At least I tell people all the time, listen, I can't stand Jackson State fans. I love to see them in misery. It's nothing better. Nothing better. I love it.
Hey, did you hear Coach Simmons say they got a street named after me, Perry Street?
They do? Oh, you talking about FAMU?
Yeah.
That's where all the shootings happen.
You know, my partner once told me, I'm gonna tell you something funny before we get out of here. My partner once said we was walking by some white folks, and he said, man, you see they a little nervous. He said, because you got dreads. He said, regular black folks, y'all shoot the gun. They see you shoot the gun. He said, because you got dreads, they think you shoot the gun. He said, that make them even worse. That make it even scarier. Like, you ain't got dreads, so you'll just shoot regular, right? But me, I come sideways, man. I said, God, dog.
Yeah, you can't win that one. Can't win that one. Hey, listen, man, this is a great show, Pete, man. We got to keep bringing some coaches on. That was fun. I enjoyed
that. Willing to come on. You know, a lot of coaches get in their feelings, man, you know.
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Coach Odoms for coming here. Shout out to Coach Willie for coming on and just chopping it up, man. Just real talk, just chopping it up with us. And listen, we appreciate all you guys for sticking to 3 hours and 30 minutes, probably the longest show we've ever done. But just trying to give you guys content on top of content on top of content, something new, fresh, and reinvigorated, man. That's what we do here on Outspoken. You already know what it is. That's been our time as my co-host, Perry Wade. You know me, your boy Scotty. And listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm a holler. God bless.